Hey everyone, welcome back to the TGI Fantasy Football Podcast, recapping Week 9 and previewing Week 10. This week we have an all new set of segments. I am your host this week, Spencer Jones, and since Jackson has banished himself from the podcast for this week, we have a substitute co-host, and that is Mitch Walsmith coming back. And our guest this week is Alex Knosshog. So we're going to be running the table this week, and we're going to open up with a manifesto from Mitch about his star gods and what they have told him about his fantasy football season going forward.
I would have, but AK deleted the script of it because he doesn't understand that a manifesto is something specifically written down. So instead, I'm going to give an elevator pitch. And basically, in the land before and after time, when things didn't really exist and concepts were more the rule of the day, there was this primordial miasma, this soup, if you will, this chili, this stew, and this stew, out of it rose certain entities, and those entities coalesced using the forces of gravity and nuclear fusion and hydrogen and helium and I don't know whatever else is in a star, into entities that affect our day-to-day lives. Some people might erroneously refer to them as star gods, but that entirely unencapsulates what they actually are. They are eldritch forces beyond our comprehension and beyond our control. Now, through very large amounts of sacrifice and effort, it is possible for us mortals to contact these entities in the same way that an ant at the top of an anthill can wave its arms at a child staring at it with a magnifying glass. And like a child staring at it with a magnifying glass, sometimes the ant burns up. Sometimes we do too. But I have returned from my conversation with the star gods. I have managed to keep my sanity intact, and they have portended certain factors about this season that will either lead me victory or lead our world, our universe to ruin, and I'm not sure which yet. They refuse to tell me that part, but something will happen. Also, my name's spelled wrong on the script.
Is it really?
Yes. I
think
wonder
you're
who did
lying.
that. Well, it's not anymore. I changed it.
Yeah. Walt Smith with 2 L's. Yeah. Well, speaking of you and your star gods and portabellas or whatever the hell you were talking about, portends, you played in the first game that we're going to be covering. This was our game of the week this week. It was between Nagel and Mitch, and this was a close game. I think we had 4 games this week that were decided by less than 10 points. Scoring was fairly competitive across the board, but Nagel is going to move to 8-1, scoring 136 points to Mitch's 127 as Mitch falls to 4-5. Nagel squashes the moniker that when teams start 5-0 or better, they always follow up their first loss immediately with a second loss. This is not true in this case. Nagel has turned it back around after his first loss of the season. 2 weeks ago, last week, he pulls out a tight one with Mitch, where it actually looked like Mitch had the upper hand at one point late into the Sunday slate. But Jonathan Taylor only produced 7.7 points in this game. And I would like to go ahead and congratulate myself for winning last week's game of the percentage of points that JT was going to have for Mitch's squad. I think I said 10%. He had 6% of Mitch's points. The other guesses were 60 and 65%. So I'll count that as a dub in my column. But that being said, Mitch saw one bad performance by JT and kicked him to the curb from his roster.
That
and
is slander. That is an incredible. You know that slander.
I don't know what you're talking
That's
about. I'm
actually
just spitting
libel,
facts.
but whatever.
No, libel's when it's in print. This is not in print. This is recorded. Spencer knows that this was a trade that me and Alex Russell dreamed up on like Thursday of last week, and we had fully agreed to it. Except part of the trade was that I got 3 weeks of IR with Travis Hunter instead of 4, and so we kept the rosters the same up until Tuesday. Now, the ironic part about that is if we had just done the trade last week, I would have won because Jonathan Taylor scored 20 points. but but that's not really important. I did not drop JT on an average performance. I dropped him on his best performance of like 38 points or whatever it was last week, and then I traded him.
No,
This
you
week,
definitely just saw the 7.7 points and got rid of him. Just like you did with
uh-huh,
Derrick
yeah.
Henry in Dynasty, which
That's not
AK
true. That's
noticed
also not true.
last
Yes. Oh
week.
my god, I noticed that on the
Yeah.
handbook the other day.
He texted me and he's
No.
like, "Why did Mitch drop Derrick Henry?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I picked him up and traded him back to him in Dynasty."
Okay, well, for the record, that was a misclick.
It was a misinput.
It was a
Calm
misinput.
down, calm down.
Yeah, I actually did know that this trade was occurring um, before the week started, but this was also back under the assumption that Travis Hunter was only going to be on IR for like 4 weeks. It sounds like he might be done for the season, and that's why they traded for Jacoby Myers. So Mitch, you basically just traded Jonathan Taylor for Josh Jacobs.
Might have been a good idea because what if the Colts just start losing?
No, I literally thought Mitch trading for Hunter was purely because of the meme of Mitch not
It
knowing who
was.
Travis Hunter was.
It
It was?
was.
Okay, good. Good.
That was entirely why I did it. I was like, what trade could I do that isn't like completely psychotic? I mean, it still is, but like, what
Yeah,
could I
yeah.
do?
Mitch's
Like,
trading skills drive me up a wall. I just got to say, I have texted him at least 3 times throughout this year trying to get Jonathan Taylor, and every single time he just told me no, he's not for sale. Just for me to find out that he proposed a trade to get rid of him towards A-Russ, and I was like, you fucker.
yeah, specifically because out of spite.
I don't
Mitchell, I
believe
want
that.
you to
I
know
don't feel like you're that petty.
you got
1 second,
slammed
I'm
in the
gonna
fisherman
pull
group
up
chat
receipts.
for this one.
Yeah, so not only did this trade happen, which just it basically looks like it's just Jonathan Taylor for Josh Jacobs, which I don't understand why you would get rid of Jonathan Taylor, who's basically on pace to have like 88% of running back touches for the Colts on the season. But he also, Mitch, what'd you try to? He tried to trade me for Amon Ra, who I just sent draft picks for, and he tried to send me Baker Mayfield and Nico Collins when I have Justin Herbert already. And I was like, Mitch, what are we doing here?
Shoot or shoot.
And then he goes, "Oh, I'll send a third round pick." And I'm like, "No, I'm very okay."
Shoot or shoot.
Mitchell, didn't you say that you don't want to trade away your players because you like grow emotionally attached to them? And then here
Yep.
you go trying to be like, shoot or shoot, third round
Yeah.
pick. Here we
You
go.
got
Yeah. The Star
emotionally
Gods.
attached to someone else's player.
This was before I saw the light of the stars in the sky.
Oh
Before
my
the
god.
cold balls of fusion pointed their emotionless gaze straight towards me and blessed me with the knowledge that I need to become completely what's the word, callous towards these people.
I think your star gods are playing you as a practical joke.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go break Jonathan Taylor's leg, so see how you feel about that.
Yeah.
And Amon
So,
Ra's.
please don't do that. Um, this game, like I said, pretty tight. X Factor Alec Pierce does it again. We were talking. I think we were going between Jawan Jennings and Alec Pierce last week. And actually both kind of popped off. I think Jawan Jennings had like 14, but Alec Pierce put in the work this week too and got 18 for Nagel. The Whiteys, they're really going for it this year. But Mitch, you talked about um, how trading Jonathan Taylor ahead of the week actually would have won you this game. We also got to talk about you dropping Colston Loveland after last week. You won the Theo Whitehead GM lowlight of the week for the Colston Loveland debacle, and then you turn around and cut him, and then he went off for his breakout game, that also would have won you the game if you weren't so attached to David Njoku.
All part of the plan.
I don't understand your plan, man.
I don't understand it either. It's not my plan.
It's the Star God's plan.
Yeah, this is entities beyond my command.
I think someone else is manifesting the star gods, and you're just second fiddle. Like
I
who
don't.
else do we think would be contacting the star gods?
I don't think
If you
any
had
of
to
you
pick
have the
anyone in the league.
balls.
I don't know. I feel like Henry has got some Star God magic going on his back-to-back championships now, and then now he's like paying the price of it
Oh
by
yeah, that
being
was
like,
bullshit. He made the playoffs on like a 6-7 record his first year.
oh,
Um,
6-7.
oh my god. 8-9. Yeah, so I got a point of discussion for you guys. So Mitch's best season, he went 8-9. He went 8-6 in the regular season, and then first of all, he was fraudulent that year, and then proceeded to get beaten off in the playoffs for 3 straight losses. Do we think that Mitch will ever finish the season with a winning record? Because whether he I don't think so, if I'm being honest, because his management style just doesn't allow for it. He either does nothing and drowns, or he does everything and drowns.
Yes. Next question.
No, we're not done with this question.
You can't
Personally,
weasel
Mitch,
out.
I'm on your side. I think yes, you can have a winning record, and hell, maybe just like the chimps with the typewriters, who could theoretically write the entirety of like Shakespeare's works, you could maybe win a championship just based off of pure luck. You know, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Just like the 2016 Cubs, you could potentially luck your way into a championship.
If you guys remember our first year of Dynasty, I was in the championship final.
And what
And
have you
how'd that
done
go?
since?
Forget to log in. I have 3 wins in a row right now, actually.
Yeah, but you're not in the Boji division. You're in the
You
Cupcake
play in a division with Theo.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not in the division named after the place that I've have been more times than Spencer has.
Well,
You have not. I have spent over a year and a half of my life in Okoboji.
I would say I'm probably around there.
well,
I
it's
remember you getting
Spencer.
heated about this when I first set the divisions.
It's
Well,
Spencer Ayers and I.
Landon has definitely spent less time at Okamoji than I have.
But no one else really knows Landon like that. So he had to be in our league.
I guess
Yeah,
that's fair.
you got cut off a few times, AK. What were you trying to say?
Well, it's Boji because Spencer Ayers and I all spent a summer there, and then Landon just gets joined with us because we know him the best.
Okay, well, I can't be blamed for being in a fraudulent league.
Yes,
Or
you
division.
can.
I never said it was
It happens all
fraudulent.
the
I just said it
time.
had Theo in it, and you just drew the conclusion that it was fraudulent because of that.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes it that way, but that's not my fault. That's his.
Yeah, it also has
Also, I
Eddie
think I
going
lost
8
to
one
him.
right now. You did week 1.
Yeah, yet I have beat 4 other people.
Yeah.
So there's that.
AK, you got one last comment here.
Yeah,
Let's see.
Mitch, we need to talk about your names and like your team names. You
I
keep
also agree with
changing
this.
them.
Okay, well
You
then
keep
maybe
changing them.
Spencer should stop stealing the players that my team is named after.
Quit dropping them! Oh my god! Quit dropping them! Quit trading them!
What was I supposed to do? He was a buy.
Hang on to him. When you
I
name
had to
your
drop
team after a
someone.
player, not him.
I
No.
would not have had this issue if Henry Gonzalez did not betray our pact to not start kickers. And
You know the
then
best part about
I
that is that
noticed 30 minutes before the game, he was starting a kicker. So I had to start Brandon McManus. And now my team is. Oh, I guess I don't have him anymore. Okay, I don't have any rapists on my team, which is good. But I don't have the guy my team was named after. So
Mitch,
what am I supposed to do?
the best part about that is that I texted Henry because I needed him to beat you so I could stay in the playoffs. And so I just go, "Hey, I need you to like really beat Mitch this week." And he just goes, "Okay, would I look like an asshole if I broke the kicker pact?" And I'm like, "I mean, yeah, you would." And he goes,
He would.
"Okay, following commissioner's orders." And he just picks up the kicker. And I'm like,
Yeah,
"That's
he
not
did
really
not.
what I meant, but
You guys did
okay."
not have a discussion last week on the podcast about how the reverse kicker bowl ended up with 2 kickers in it.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing is I almost just changed my team name to your old team name just to fuck with you.
That would be really funny.
But Mitch, you didn't say anything about my trade offer. I
I
offered
was at
Mitch.
work, bitch.
I said I'll trade you Jake Bates back with my 12th round pick for your 11th round pick,
That's
and
such
he
a
didn't
stupid
say anything
trade.
about it. It's it's
You
it's
might have to make that
imperative to
trade,
your
Mitch.
team. It's imperative to your team.
Yeah, but
Let me get back to you on that.
no,
Yeah.
because I'm like Mitchell. You owned like V Carb, like changing your name award. Like Spencer knows what I'm talking about.
I
Yeah,
know you're
I
talking
ended
And
up
about.
having to get rid of that because it was just Mitch.
trust me, exactly.
I'm a
And I'm sitting here
mercurial
like
guy. I admit it.
I'm sitting here looking at your names, and you got the Fernando Alonso's stupid,
I don't
incompetent
know why that was.
Machiavelli, stupid, and Gloria Stafford's good. We will Brock you decent. Jimmy G and a Jet. Like you got some good names in there, but why are you making your name wailing and gnashing a teeth? Like that is not a good name. You
It's
need
the
to
Star
work on your
Gods,
name.
man. It's the Star Gods.
I just want to say that the Inglorious Stafford's name I gave to him.
That is true. What was
Oh
the Jimmy
my
G
god,
one?
It was
Jimmy
Jimmy
G
G and
and
the
the Jets.
Jays or something
That
like
that
that.
is easily my best name, I think. Unless I had a character named Benny, and then Benny and the Jets would work too.
Hmm.
But also that would mean I need to start the Jets defense.
Well, at one point you were the Detroit Lions. Like that's just an NFL team name.
I'm pretty sure he like only had one Detroit Lion on his team when he had that name too.
I think that's true. I think that's a team name I'm keeping for when I just draft all the Lions next year.
You could have had Jameson Williams. Where were you on that one?
No, I need all of them, all or nothing. I need to have a coherent team right now, so that next year I'll just play Lions players. Also, the Lions
Yeah.
suck now.
Aren't they
Is
like
it?
5-3?
Yeah, that's terrible. They lost to the Vikings.
Mitchell, how did
That's
you immediately become the most spoiled Lions fan I've ever met in my entire life?
yeah. Yeah. I like that
I'm a
he liked him
mercurial
because it was
guy, man.
ironic.
What can I say?
Yeah. Our next matchup of the week was between myself and AK, and um this one I don't mean to speak for you, AK, but this one went about the way I expected it to go. Um
No, I totally agree with you.
yeah.
Um, well, I loaded up my app like about a week ago, last Tuesday, being like, all right, what matchup do we got? And I was staring down the barrel of getting blown out. And so like, all right, even when I had CD, that's when this happened. So like I'm
Yeah.
gonna blow up the team, trade some draft picks, try to make my team better for next year. So that's
You got some serious firepower for next year too. Who else did you trade off?
nobody. It was CD was the only trade I made. I
Oh, I
guess I
thought you
still
were
have
gonna
till tomorrow.
trade off Goddard.
Well, you were the guy who was most interested in Goddard, and you were just like, actually, I'm not going to talk to you about Goddard at all.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just don't have it in my wheelhouse to get him. I don't want to give up I don't want to give up my second round pick.
I understand. I understand.
I have Teoc. He's enough. Yeah. Well, so I put up 139 this week. I put up the highest score, but even then, like so, this is something I've run into like 3 times this year because I think at separate points I've picked up one of the Arizona backup running backs, trying to figure out who it's going to be. And so the first I picked up Amari DeMarcado after Benson went down, and then he proceeded to have like 3 touches that game, and that's when he like fumbled the ball at the goal line. And so I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm not going to touch an Arizona running back. And then later I went and picked up like Michael Carter. I don't think I started him, but then Michael Carter got cut. And so I picked up Zonovan Knight, and then Zonovan Knight did jack shit. So I'm just going to stay away from the Arizona running backs at this point. I don't know.
I feel like that's a team you should stay away from in general.
And not
I
Jacoby
agree with
Brissett.
Mitch.
Jacoby Brissett's on fire.
Yeah,
Kyler
but they're
Murray
still
got
the
benched.
Cardinals.
Like he was hurt, but now he's cleared to play, and they're going to roll with Jacoby Brissett. So the
AK, your
K1
third best
era.
player was the Rams defense.
Oh my God, shut up, Mitchell. Your third best player was like someone on your bench. I don't know. Whatever.
Let me check.
Anytime Mitch tries to talk shit
That's not
this
true.
entire
Brandon
time, I'm
McManus was
just
the
going to
only
remind
member of
him
my bench that scored, you
who
ass.
doesn't have a championship.
Exactly. My name is on the trophy. So is Spencer's. Yours is not.
My third best player was Nico Collins with 14.5.
Big moving up in the world. Moving up in the world.
Yeah.
Might
Yeah.
avoid
Well,
the
Sam
toilet bowl.
Darnold scored 34.
So something we saw start last year with Jackson and I was the first. Technically, actually, it was the second trade that involved draft picks. The first one just everyone forgot about, including the people that made the trade. Andreas and Logan, once upon a time, made
Yes, I remember this.
yeah. It was at the it was at
It was
Logan's
when Logan
punishment.
got last place. Yep.
Yeah, they went to trade a draft pick, and then they forgot, and I forgot. So I guess in practice, the first draft pick trade, and last year I was wondering how that was going to affect this year, and it didn't like fully take off, but it was definitely used a lot more. AK used it to his advantage. Draft picks are being utilized elsewhere in other trades, and so I feel like we're not all the way to where the market is going to be. So how do you think the lessons applied this year is going to affect the trade market next year, especially as we get closer to the deadline? Just like how last year influenced this year, and those steps got taken. Do you guys feel like it's going to open up a whole lot more going forward, or do you think we've seen about where people are comfortable?
We'll go first on this one. I think it's not going to extend too much more because you traded for a draft picks last year and you're 5-4 right now. You're barely above 500. And yeah, I believe you have a great team beyond what your record indicates. But I think the idea is like you get these draft picks, but you still have to hit on those draft picks. You still have to do your research and do well. It's not just like getting this capital is going to automatically set you up for success.
Oh, trust
And
me,
I
I
think,
threw a pick down the drain with Malik Neighbors.
well, Malik Neighbors was a good pick, but that's the idea of fantasy. In my opinion, there is just a good amount of randomness when it comes to fantasy, particularly injuries. Like, will Travis Kelsey run into your wide receiver week one and absolutely knock him out for like 3 weeks? It's random. There's a good amount of randomness when it comes to it.
You might get
That was a
first pick,
great joke.
first round, and pick Christian McCaffrey, who is described with a minor like thigh tweak, and then he doesn't play a single game all year.
Oh, trust me, I
Exactly.
fell victim to that too one year where I had Christian McCaffrey, and I thought I like he was sandwiched between um 2 years where he was running back one the year before and after, but the year that I took him, he played 2 games the whole season. Oh, he's just one of those players that like I will never touch again.
Yeah, no, I'm betrayed by that man.
Yeah.
I can't look at him the same way.
Yeah, but I mean
So
that's a good point, AK. I think there's definitely ways to get around it. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned I'm sitting at 5-4, but the thing is, I'm not worried. Um, I guess like I would have been in past years where like anything can go wrong anyway. Basically, what I've learned is that my opponents have to have a good week to beat me, and if they're having an okay week, I'm generally sitting pretty. So, and we've seen Cam basically just boosted his championship bid by getting Lamb, and A Russ picked up Jonathan Taylor, which wasn't it wasn't an upgrade that he needed, but it is an upgrade nonetheless over Josh Jacobs, and he's definitely going to be scarier going forward. Um, and these players, I guess A-Russ somehow managed to fuck off with that trade and not really give up any draft capital, which is stupid. But
He
yeah, I
got
mean, we're
a
seeing
higher week 12 pick. 12th round pick.
yeah.
Ye-
The only reason that was in there was because I said it had to be because the draft picks had to be even, or else a pick would just be like forfeited
Well, actually, I mean,
on
no. When we
ESPN.
submitted it, I was just giving him a draft pick.
Oh yeah, that
Uh,
was so.
but
AK, what I learned in doing testing and research for this. So originally there was one draft pick involved in that trade, and it was Mitch's 12th round pick. ESPN. So basically, Mitch would have just had um, 11 picks in a 12-round draft next year, and so he would have just had a free agent spot. And A-Rod's having 14 or 13 picks in a 12-round draft. What ESPN does is once you fill out your roster, you're done, and the rest of the picks get forfeited. So what essentially would have happened is that Mitch would have traded away Jonathan Taylor and deleted his last round pick from the draft. And I was like, what the hell? What is going on here? Yeah, you can't like overload your roster. So that's something that I learned.
I was concerned about that with my trade with Cameron, and I managed to spin it in a way that was positive for me. And I was like, I'll send you some later round picks just so you can draft a full team. Just trying to be nice to you. Just because, I was like, well, if I have more draft picks than I have roster slots, how is that even going to work?
Yeah, it doesn't basically. So yeah, anyone listening to the podcast, just let that be known.
yeah, for
Cameron, if you're
all
hearing it,
6
I
hours
love
that
you.
you have to trade after. Well, no, because this will go live after the trade deadline.
Mhm.
Yeah, unless Jackson like works overtime. Yeah.
I
We can
guess.
go on
Wait,
to our
no. This
next
is an
game unless
actual question that I don't think is addressed by the bylaws.
what's up?
You can't trade players after the trade deadline. Can you just do a pure pick trade?
No.
Darn.
The all trading is ceased at the trade deadline.
Okay,
Even
what about when
Yeah.
Logan traded Andreas a pancake for a third round pick?
the season was over
Technically,
at that point. That was.
yeah.
Okay, that's true.
What if you
Yeah,
tried to
so
trade
the year
McGuffin
rolled
after
over.
the deadline?
The MacGuffin can't be traded.
I agree with Spencer on that one. Even though the letter of the law, I'm not a textualist, the letter of the law does not technically state you can't trade the MacGuffin. The spirit of the law and the spirit of the MacGuffin definitely indicate that it is not a tradable object.
So it was one of those where I was legit sitting there and I was like, if we're going by the book, AK's right, but like it's dumb. Like it was so dumb. And I was sitting there tweaking in the chat because I'm like, fuck, I'm getting played by my own system here. Um and then AK sent in like the actual like motion and I'm like, fuck, like if I was Cleo, I would have just like allowed it to happen because of all the effort that was put in.
Well,
And I was sitting there, I'm like,
Cleo is clearly not a textualist. Cleo's an activist judge.
like, I was sitting there like laughing the whole time, and I'm just like, this is stupid. But then something that I had actually forgotten about that Cleo did pick up on was the fact that play had already started, so technically it wouldn't have been tradable on that alone because it would have already been in play. And so I was sitting there, I'm like, I don't know why I didn't think of that, but
Spencer, you could just add a clause to the bylaws to stop this from happening that says that you go by the spirit of the law and not the letter of the law, and then people have to interpret by that, which is a lot easier.
I can't do that without.
Is it easier?
It's easier for
But
me.
Well, you
I
have your
can't
own
just do that. It has to
interpretation
be
on the
voted
script as
in
well.
or it has to be ruled in. So actually, Cleo's ruling added in the MacGuffin Gate bylaw, just like the extension of where the um what's it called the disputes are. It was just the addition there that had the ruling and everything. It wasn't anything that really changed anything. But yeah, that's the only way that it can be added in. Like without voting in. And I honestly, it's not an emergency, so I didn't need it voted in.
You could always add it later.
Yeah, exactly. You can be added in the off season. But yeah, no, I was sitting there. I had a good time, and I thought it was really funny. Also, AK being drunk and sending in the motions.
No, I wrote it while sober. I just
Oh,
by the time the response had come back, I was drunk because it was Halloween, you know.
yeah. All right, I think we can move on to our next
Our
game.
third game.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I'm having a blast. But yeah,
I'm having a great time. I just
Yeah.
noticed that we've been talking for how long? The
Oh.
battle tell us.
Yeah, probably 30 minutes. It's Jackson's problem.
31 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to cut down all the humbug.
So this was like the other major game for the week with playoff implications. This was Cam and Andreas. Cam moves to 7-2. Andreas moves to 5-4. Another one of the games that I was talking about that was decided by less than 10 points, and again, a very competitive game. It was 133 to 125. Andreas dropping to 5-4. Similar situation to me, where I don't think he needs to be worried about anything, but now being 5-4 is when you get into territory of um like one slip up down the line. Like Andreas is at least losing to good teams, but a slip up and someone going on a run could really come and play. And you don't want to be backdoored out of the playoffs. But Andreas, so ESPN is giving me a 71% chance to make the playoffs, but only a 53 or 59. I think it's 53% chance for Andreas, which I feel like feels really low for Andreas's team. That's a bunch of dogs. I think he's still second in points scored on the year. Um, and just like we said last week and the week before, Andreas is still one of only two owners that has scored 100 or more in every game this year. So I don't understand why ESPN is tweaking about Andreas' chances to make the playoffs here. But yeah, if Andreas were to be out of the playoffs again and miss the playoffs for the fourth straight year, hasn't made it since 2021, with another owner that we'll actually get to later down the line, um, it would just be following the same script that I feel like Andreas gets every year. Every year, Andreas puts up hella points, but then gets just nay-nayed on and sashayed out of the park by people that are scoring second and first highest every week. I feel like he's always sitting there like top three in points and then like bottom three in points against. Um, and I would be exhausted if I was Andreas and in his shoes. So, um, one last note that I do have here is that something he can take solace in is that he is the only person in the league that has a winning record on everyone else's schedules. Even Nagel, who's 8-1, Aras 7-2, Cam 7-2. They all have a 4-5 record on someone else's schedule, or worse. Cam might have a 3-6 record somewhere, if I remember. But yeah, so Andreas, I think, is being severely underrated by the computers.
I think you pretty much covered that. I was actually kind of just sitting on your note about how confusing Cleo's team is because I completely agree with that, but I mean we haven't gotten to that part of the discussion yet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Andreas can do a little bit more to upgrade his team. I think he needs to invest in a defense, clearly. Giving up too many points, it's simple, like the Bengals. And also, he should invest in a new tight end. I mean, his tight end's name is Theo, and that's clearly a red
You have
flag
Theo
when it comes
Johnson.
to. He does have Theo Johnson.
He's been streaming a tight end every week. Just picking one up off waivers that has a good matchup. I know he had Chizim Okonkwo, if that's how the name's pronounced. He had him for a while. He might have picked up Jawan Johnson at some point. I had him for the first few weeks when Taysom Hill was out and he was getting like 13 targets a game. But yeah, he picks up a tight end weekly. So I mean, Theo
That's
Johnson's a pretty
David
solid
Njoku.
ad, but he's David Njoku has lost you 2 games in a row
Well,
for separate reasons.
nobody's nerfing, man.
Oh my god, my dog picked up another fucking squeak toy.
Hi, Mavis.
Yeah, this was a problem last week. Like I would get talking and she would just start squeaking a toy in my face. Hi. Yeah.
You know, I would like to change the discussion to Cameron's team a little bit. First off, we could not let external pressure decide our team names. All right, there was a little
I
bit of
agree.
controversy with that at the beginning of the year. You know, names got leaked, people got mad, people outside the league got mad, and it's like you can't. You know, this is a purely TGIF fantasy name. You
What
gotta
do you
let
mean
it be that
people
way.
outside the league got mad?
I forget exactly who it is. So I don't want to like name names, but people got mad at Cameron for his name.
For
If I
first
remember,
down
I don't remember
syndrome?
who it was. I just remember like for some reason I was expected to know who it was and I didn't know who it was. I don't remember the name, but it wasn't like Kim and Cleo, I think, or I guess if I'm not naming names, two different people knew who it was and had talked to both of them individually about it. So this was something that had been brought up multiple times.
I feel like his current team name is more offensive than last year's.
Well, Mitchell, do you remember last year's? Ugh, do you remember last year's name?
Wasn't it first down syndrome?
Which was
Yeah,
hilarious.
and I liked it. Yeah.
That's a way less. That's, that's so much less offensive than what it is now.
Really, I
Well,
think it's a little more offensive, but I think it's way funnier.
I think
I mean, the
this year's
current one is
name
kind of I mean,
you
it's not like
require some ball
insulting
knowledge.
victims, but
You require some ball knowledge to know why massage parlor warriors in the fantasy football league is
Well,
a
no.
little offensive.
Mitch actually has that knowledge because the first week of the podcast we did when he was doing the power rankings, he actually ranted about Cam's name and how it didn't make sense because he didn't have Deshaun Watson or Justin Tucker on his team.
or as
That's
I
true.
like to call him, Justin Tugger. Yeah, that is what
How
happened.
about Justin Toucher?
I was going to say I've
Well,
heard
he
Justin
wasn't touching
Tucker.
anything; he was getting tugged.
I guess so. I guess so. Maybe I should change my dynasty name.
You have
Uh,
Justin Tucker?
yeah, he did.
No,
No, he did.
wait.
Have
I
you
was about to
guys
say, I'm
heard?
pretty sure I dropped them.
Have you guys heard the conspiracy theory about the ball handling rule changes? That's a bad way
What?
to phrase that. Okay, so
What are you talking
no,
about?
they changed when the kicker gets their like kicking ball, you know, this year.
No, I actually have no idea what you're talking about, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
no, instead of getting the game ball on the day of the game, they get it a few days before now, so they practice with it.
Where's the punchline?
And well, clearly
I
they're
think he's
doing
just
that
being
because they
genuine.
want to make it easier. No, I'm being serious. They want to make it easier, and obviously it worked to break the field goal record. So Justin Tucker doesn't have it anymore.
Cam
Yeah.
Little was also firing darts in college.
Where did he
Yeah,
play
no, I'm
college
not
at?
saying. I'm not saying. I think they just wanted to guarantee it took a season.
Mm.
So they were just
It
like, okay, well,
really,
let's let them, hang out with the ball for a bit, get to know each other.
it really is just like the last of Justin Toucher's legacy, like stripped away from him. That's really all he had going for him. He
He
lost
was the
like the
most
field
Yeah.
goal
accurate
percentage
kicker until
record.
Cameron Dicker came along too.
I thought it was Eddie Pinheiro.
I
How the
think it's
fuck you say
Dicker.
his name? Let's fact check right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Or at least it was at one point this year.
I thought it was Mark Carney.
No, you didn't.
No, it is. It is Cameron
You
Dicker,
think
the
I don't know
kicker.
who Mark Carney is?
It is Philadelphia Eagles legend Cameron Dicker.
What?
He played one game for them, made one field goal.
So
And threw for
Really?
he
I
has a
did not know that.
100% record. That
yeah.
does not count.
No, but like his career, like even with the Chargers and the Eagles, he is at 94.1% field goal percentage, which is like all time best.
You ever think
Yeah.
you could be a kicker?
No.
Me?
I mean, it kind of seems like they just find random people to do it now, and they like do well. So I've been thinking, like, what if I was like secretly the best kicker in the world?
Give it a try. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I might as
just
well.
try
That
I would
whatever.
love
one,
to see you
the
try and kick a 35-yard field goal.
who was the guy? One of the like 18 kickers the Niners had this year, like literally just kind of started like practicing in a field by his house and was like, "Oh, I can kick a 60-yarder." Okay, that's what he said. But I mean, no one was there, so I don't think people actually believe him.
AK, do you have any idea what the fuck he's talking about?
This is a real
N-
thing.
No, because the only 49ers kickers I remember are Robbie Gould and Jake Moody, and neither of them are on the team
Honestly,
anymore.
fair. I remember David Akers for a while.
No, it was like whoever they had in like the second game of this year was some new guy that was a walk on, and he was a walk on.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. You
He
said
was like an
walk on
accountant.
about a pro football team. You're tweaking,
Okay,
bro.
whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know the word for it. I'm sorry. I don't have Asperger's.
Free agent?
Is there a word for it?
Free agent that was just practice squad? Is that what you're
Undrafted
talking about?
free agent.
UDFA? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is as close to a walk on
He
as you'll
was an
get, I guess.
undrafted
Yeah.
free agent, as in he was like an
Okay.
accountant.
The 2025 49ers kickers are Jake Moody and Eddie Pinero.
I think it might have been Eddie Pinero.
Eddie Pinero's been in the league for a while.
Yeah, he kicked for the Bears in 2019.
Yeah, I
Why
think
is
he's
it
kicked for
when
the
you look
Panthers
up
too.
Eddie Pinero, the person that comes up is an internet personality?
What is it
TEDx
with
speaker,
you and
video
talking about
producer, and
players
founder of
and
Your
their?
World Within.
There's something about you talking about players and their
I
just
know it. They never come up with the right
Travis
person.
Hunter. When you go, Travis Hunter's a writer, and Jackson and I are like, "What are you talking about?" And we looked him up on Wikipedia, and yeah, he's like a writer or something.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Okay, so holy shit, we're only on our fourth game. Um, our next game was also relatively big for the playoffs. This was Cleo and Landon's game. Cleo uh, gets up to 4-5 after Mitch ruled Cleo dead for the playoff chances after losing to Eddie. Landon puts up 109 to Cleo's 137. Very solid week from Cleo. And Landon's now 6-3, still very solidly in the playoffs. But I feel like every week we've been saying this about like Landon's team is maybe overachieving a bit. Not in the sense that it's a bad team. It feels like there's not much of like a kill shot on the team outside of that 1 week where Landon put up like 180 and then I think also followed it up with like a 150 game. Other than that, it's like those are 2 weeks out of a 9 game slate so far where Landon's team has looked extraordinary and the rest of the time it's looked um like solid but nothing spectacular. But it's Cleo's team that I actually want to focus on because Cleo's team confuses me. I know Mitch, you mentioned this a little bit earlier. I can't tell if Cleo's team is good or not. Cleo has Cleo has the points. Um, she's not too far off of like the playoff leaders right now. Um, and like the team is capable of putting up performances like this, but it's forgettable. Like I don't
Yeah.
really know what to think of this team.
I gotta
And
say, I have. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're good. I was filling words.
I just gotta say, I have great respect for any team with Chubba Hubbard on it. I think it's really impressive to just have that man just kind of even on your bench. I mean, like you could have filled that with like a kicker, maybe. I don't know, but no, she chose to fill it with Chubba Hubbard, and he scored
Let it be known that
1.7 points.
Mitch's recommendation of ball knowledge is to drop a running back for a backup kicker.
Yeah.
You know, we never said Mitchell's
Um,
ball knowledge was good. It's
I actually
knowledge.
do have a
Yeah, it's
fairly
good.
rational explanation for why Cleo's score doesn't necessarily compare with the rest of everything, and it's because Jahmyr Gibbs is, despite being probably the best running back in the league, uh, play called by a man who would have been better off like creating simple tools in like the early like paleo scene with like Homo erectus. And it so instead of like actually using Jahmyr Gibbs to do anything. He just kind of runs him straight into the middle of the pack over and over and over again every single game, day in and day out. And the only way that Jahmyr Gibbs ever scores points off of that is if he randomly manages to break through for an 80-yard run and a touchdown. So without that, you have a player that is projected to score a ton of points, looking really good on paper, who then week in, week out scores almost nothing.
Mitch would have hated watching Marshawn Lynch.
I know. I've heard.
Yeah. So you just talked a little bit about roster comp that Cleo has going on. And when I was making notes for this, I just kind of looked over and I noticed that the kickers were Cameron Dicker and Kaimi Fairbairn. And
That's crazy.
There's actually, I was going to say non-zero, but it's actually probably likely that this might be the first game in league history where neither kicker was fully white. I was not about to go through and check through what's 17 times 8. A lot of games. I was not going to go through each and every one to make sure that stat was true, but I'm going to say it's true. Starting now, this is the first game that had 2 non-white kickers in it. And that's pretty cool.
Wait, does Cameron Dicker count as...
Cameron Dicker's Asian.
Okay, he's born in Asia, but I think he's still white.
He's trying to deny his naturalization?
He's from China, I think.
He was born in Hong Kong, so he wasn't naturalized at all.
Isn't naturalization the process
fluent.
of like a foreigner becoming a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, but neither of his parents did that, so he wasn't given citizenship
so he did
from their
it
parents.
and he
Does
became
China
naturalized
have... No, I don't think so.
Is he not a citizen?
Cameron,
Is he about to get
I'm
deported?
Googling it. Dicker,
He's a U.S. citizen.
He's a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, he came to the U.S. and, like, became naturalized.
No, his parents were both American, so he was just born a U.S. citizen.
Oh, even though he was born in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Chinese citizen, but he is from Hong Kong.
Well, Hong Kong is China state, right?
has... China would need jus soli citizenship, wouldn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not when he was born in Hong Kong, but now it is. It's autonomous, but it's still like it's China. It's de facto Chinese.
Hong Kong is birthright citizenship with restrictions. I'm gonna check what that means.
Why are we doing political science research on fantasy
political science and geography?
Because we know that Jackson can just cut it. Hi, Jackson.
I just saw what you sent me. Okay. Okay. It's pronounced DK.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pronounced. I think it's Canary DK.
Okay,
is how it's
here's a funny thing. This actually answers the question. He is not Chinese because he is not ethnically Chinese. If he were ethnically Chinese, he would have been a Chinese citizen by being born in Hong Kong. But he's not ethnically Chinese, and therefore he was never a citizen. That's kind of racist.
Ignore that, and I'm still going to say that this is 2 non-white kickers.
I agree. You should.
Yeah, I mean, something that AK pointed out in his notes is that Landon's Kaimi Fairbairn was the 3rd highest scoring player on Landon's team this week, which is kind of bizarre for a team that scored almost 110 points.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're really going about it, every year we talked about Andreas having the same script. So does Landon, and Landon's honestly like the new generation of Ryan Williams, where he always makes the playoffs. And it feels like it's going to be the same story this year, where Landon's going to make the playoffs, just posting on vibes through the entire season, kind of like doing things here and there, losing to teams that he shouldn't be losing to, beating teams that he shouldn't be beating. He's going to get into the playoffs, win his first round matchup, and spoil the season for a really deserving team, and then completely check out after that and just like say see ya. And he's going to lose his second round game, and then he's just going to finish fifth because that's what he always does. But like I have no reason to believe that this team is not any different. Omarion Hampton, update news came out today. He's not coming back until week 14. So Landon's not going to get him for probably the rest of the season or a regular season. He just got, who the hell did he just get back? He just got someone back on injury this week. Let me pull up the game real quick. I'm unprepared.
Was it Brian Thomas?
Puka.
No.
He got Puka. No, Brian Thomas is probably going to be out this next week. But he got Puka Nakua back. And Puka played well. I actually thought Puka was going to be out for another week, so that was kind of surprising. But so Atlanta's team isn't fully healthy. J.K. Dobbins, who was a superstar at the beginning of the year, is now splitting carries with R.J. Harvey. So I don't know. Like Landon's every week. I feel like we're talking about like Landon's team's just there. It's winning. It's a good roster, but like I don't look at it and go, yes, championship contender.
I mean, dare I say that has to deal with like Landon's personality. I know he's a busy guy, he's working. But like, does he maybe sometimes forget about fantasy football? You know? Like
No,
I'm pretty sure he lives in like Austin right now.
he does.
I
Fuck, I
don't
thought
know
he
if
was still in Eastern Iowa.
shit, dude, I don't
Landon,
know. I
if
can
you're
text him.
listening to this, let me know. Are you in Texas?
Are you alive? Are you updating your
Are
roster
you dead?
weekly?
Yeah, no, Landon. If I Landon's there, if I text him, he texts every once in a while in the group chat. But he always sets his roster every week, and he's active in Dynasty as well. Actually, he's like ironically one of the more active people in Dynasty. But yeah, no, he's around. Yeah, I did not know he was in um, BFG though, or
Well, that
BFE.
kind of makes me like question like how many people in the league actually like know Landon?
I think it's
The
just
Iowa
the.
City people?
Nagel.
I think it's just the Iowa City dwellers and you.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, I know. Landon and Nagel know each other.
Do
Um,
more people know Landon or Nagel?
Nagel.
more. I think it's equal
Probably
because
even.
everyone in Iowa City knows both of them, or everyone that was in Iowa City knows both of them. But no, I guess it would be Nagel by one because AK knows AK and Jackson both know Nagel and um AK knows Landon, but I don't think Jackson and Landon have ever actually met. No, they would
I'm
have
just
met they would have met the year that we did the draft
Fantasy
at
draft together.
at
oh
Burlington
yeah.
House. So I think it's equal. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
here
I
was an
don't
idea that I was thinking about
oh,
the other day. Um so week 18 we did it one year where we played into week 18 and it was a disaster and haven't done it since. Rookie mistake. Um the final week of the season, I was gonna ask you guys about this before like I brought it up to the league. I was thinking so the last week of the season, after everything's done, what are you guys thoughts on like doing like exhibition games? But it's like the games you'd get paired up with someone, and your week 18 it would be because you'd probably be like having starters sit out. It would just be your best available lineup for that week. Like retroactively at the end of the week, it would just be your best scoring lineup. But it would be paired up against someone that maybe you want to play twice a year, but you don't get to play twice a year, and maybe like it would count in the record books and everything, and it'd be fun. But I was wondering, is that something that you guys would enjoy, or is that just kind of like you guys check out? Because I kind of want like actual feedback. Like, would
I
you
don't
guys care or not?
even if people did check out for it, I don't see the harm in doing it. Like if it even makes one person slightly more entertained, I think it's worth it. It's not like it's
Yeah.
any extra effort.
Yeah, I mean, like it's another. My thoughts is that it was another week of football, and there's there's a lot of rivalries in the league, and there's just like for the most part, I only play like there's some people that I've only played like once a year for the most part, and I'd love to play a second time, and just for bragging rights. Like I think it's fun to play, like AK, Andreas, Cam every year. Just it's fun. So that's where my brand was at.
Yeah, I guess in that same vein, AK, would you be open to creating a trophy for only D series? But
I
the
would
between
100% be down to do that.
yeah,
I mean, you were talking about that. You were talking about like a 6 pack of like German beer, right?
you get a 6 pack. Yeah, whoever wins gets a 6 pack of a German beer, and we have a Stein.
I'm pretty sure I have one, like back in Des Moines.
We could probably like get
Hmm.
one like made. Like I don't think
Ik,
it's that expensive.
ik habe auf Köln gekauft. I bought it in Köln.
That cannot be correct. Oh, gekauft.
Yeah.
Oh, my dad was just in Köln, and he did not buy me a Stein.
Oh, that's so tough.
Yeah, my dad.
Fake
I don't
fan.
think he got me fucking anything.
Wow.
I told him to get me a
Somebody-
kebab. He didn't. He
Damn
said
it,
he ate it.
Jason. Yeah. So rolling into our next game, it was A-Russ versus Henry, the new guard versus the old guard, and this one was kind of an embarrassment on Henry's part. He only put up 78 points, drops to 3-6, and this roster leaves little to be inspired about. A-Russ didn't even have a particularly great week. He started Kendrick Bourne, put up 101 points. Um, and Aros is 7-2 now. He's holding down that second first round bye spot right now, which he's on pace for getting his third consecutive. We've only had 3 seasons now where it's available, and Aros just has a knack for getting to it. Um, but yeah, Henry's team is kind of in shambles right now. First of all, he dropped Cam Little a few weeks ago, and I had forgotten until I looked back because I couldn't remember if it was a joke or not. Um, I remember the joke originally being when Justin Tucker hit his 66-yard field goal back in, I think it was 2021, or was it 2022? It was week 3 of 2021. Lions Ravens, and he hit a 66-yard field goal, and I think AK had
And
him,
by the way,
and AK still lost his matchup, but I remember him going, "You should get like 10 points if your kicker." Or I think you said you should win the game if your kicker breaks the record. And then I think Logan chimed in and said it should be 10 points. I looked back, I awarded 1 extra point for it. So it wouldn't have actually changed the outcome of this game since it was decided by 23 points.
nor
But
would 10 extra points.
that's not the point. I was just gonna say that anyone that would have had Cam Little would have gotten a bonus point to their name, based on precedent. Something I had just forgotten about. It's not technically in the rules anywhere, but it's something that we did once. Um, but yeah, I mean, Henry's team looks not good. He hasn't scored triple digits since week 5. 4 straight weeks of posting 96 points or less. Um, and currently he's 3-6, and his team doesn't look bad, like in a sense of like it doesn't look like it's a front runner to be last, but Henry is at very real danger of becoming the third former champion to finish last. Technically we've had 4 people both win and lose the league, but Logan lost the league before he won it. So Henry would be the first person to win the league, or the third person to win the league, and then later finish last. That's kind of like where he's staring down the barrel of right now. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about Henry's team right now? Because it just does not look great.
Kind of sucks ass.
So does your team.
No, my team's good. I'm bad. There's a difference.
Okay, that's
at least
fair.
can be a little self-deprecating.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm just
respect
like
that.
I'm not a fan of Henry's team because I mean he's got goddamn Romo Dunze running cardio out there. To
Jesus,
my
yeah,
basketball fans,
fucking
you
you
know
go.
the Tony Snell game. You know the Tony Snell game where he posted like 20 minutes, 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, literally 0 stats. He's out there running up and down the court and doing nothing. That was Romo Dunze. I guess he had 3 targets, but like that doesn't targets aren't even really a stat in my opinion.
I just don't understand how you put up 47 points and your wide receiver one is out there putting up a stat line like that. Motherfucker, I scored the same amount of points as him, but you don't see experts week in and week out saying that I am a must start each and every week.
Well,
Like
you got to bulk
like
up. You're too skinny.
Ever seen
Romo
the
Dunze kind of fucked Henry in this matchup because you would think that he would have had 25 points with how that Bears offense was just jet fueling, just FTJ, fuel the jet. That's what it was doing. And he was just nowhere to be seen. It's not like the Bengals do not have a good defense. Like there is like it's not like he was on Revis Island out there. Like I just don't understand how he and Caleb didn't link up. And like Caleb played very well this game, and I just don't know where Rome was.
he really just threw to everyone other than Romo Dunze.
Yeah.
He finally decided to throw it to Loveland, and that worked
Yeah.
out
Right
really
after
well.
Mitch dropped.
Yeah, it really did. Sam
Fucking
Laporta had a good
L
game though.
management.
He was the only Lions player to have a good game.
It's not even the game we were talking about. How are you bringing up Sam Laporta?
I'm just
He's
talking
Mitch.
about my tight end being good, so dropping Colston level it doesn't hurt that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how about the fact that RJ Harvey? I hate that dude. Oh my god.
Okay, I was
Because
actually
when he
wondering
was
why you
at
hated him.
because when he was at UCF last year, he was cooking Iowa State and was giving me a heart attack. At that point, Iowa State was undefeated. I thought we were really gonna lose because this fucking guy RJ Harvey was going off. And then this week, it's not relevant to this league, but in a different league, I played RJ Harvey and he drops 17 points on my head by the bottom guy in the league. And I'm like, fucking RJ Harvey? I thought I was done with this guy. So did writing my notes today, I was like, I fucking hate RJ Harvey. Just had to
The
put it in
RJ
chat.
ghost of
Harvey is
RJ
related
Harvey.
to PJ Harvey.
Not to
Who?
my knowledge. I do not believe he's related to PJ
She's
Harvey.
an indie musician. She is white though, so I mean they're probably not related.
Jay's. Huh.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, I mean it's totally possible. I'm just thinking they have the same last
Yeah.
name and one of their I mean they're both initialized J ending and then Harvey last names, so they're probably the same person actually.
Mitch, I think you're trying to make black and white out of gray.
I
I
don't
said
know
that
what that
backwards.
means.
I think you're trying to make gray out of black and white. That's where I was trying to go. Anyways, our last two games of the week here were kind of both tank bowls. One was a rivalry tank bowl, and we're gonna lead off with that one. That was Logan versus Eddie. This is the a leg of the Sax Trio series between Logan, Eddie, and I that we play every year. I had already wrapped this one up since I played them both in week 1 and 2, but nonetheless, these guys have met. They've met 9 times. Um, and funny enough, so Eddie won the first 4, or he won the first 5, and then Logan has won all 4 since. So like, it's just streaky in this matchup. But I like Eddie. Eddie hasn't won a game in this series since 2021. It was week 3 of 2021 when he beat Logan. Since then, he's lost every game to um, me and Logan, and Eddie's just in a sad spot right now. I don't understand how the fuck this guy keeps losing. It's honestly like Master Tank artist worthy at this point. Eddie just like I feel like every year it's the same thing where his team is always competitive, but he just keeps losing. But then he gets to the end of the season, and it's not like his team is like out of place. Like it's it's not like it's scoring way higher than anyone around him. He's just in a sad spot, and his team's history in this league is eerily similar to the Nebraska Cornhuskers football program since like the '80s. He came in and just started winning championships. He was always at the top, just like Nebraska in the '90s with Tommy Frazier, just always there. They were beasts. And then you get to like present day, and they're still trying to get back to where they were 10 years ago. For Eddie, it's 5 years ago. And it's just kind of sad because you don't know if they'll ever get back because they're Nebraska or they're Eddie. And even though you know that they're like a peak program, there's just no hope. And that's where it feels like Eddie's at right now.
So you're asking, is he Lightning McQueen or is he Chick Hicks?
Well, no, Chick Hicks took him like 15 years to win.
That is true. Chick Hicks was a real journeyman for a while.
Yeah, so no, he's like
He's either he's Jackson Storm or he's Lightning McQueen.
no, I don't think this comparison works at all.
Okay, well,
I think my Nebraska
let me have this,
Cornhuskers
man.
comparison was good. Yeah, I mean, Logan gets to 2-7. Eddie falls to 3-6. Just Eddie's kind of like just disappointing. Like his team is solid, and it should probably be competing, but he's just finding ways to lose. One note that I had is this is the first time in 9 games that the team with the worst record of the two won the matchup. But yeah, I don't really have much more to add on Eddie and Logan's game. I mean, Logan's kind of been an afterthought this year, if I'm being brutally honest. And then Eddie is just it's like watching a fish flop around out of water.
Eddie should give his team. I mean, he should give full control of his team to JMO.
No, I disagree with that. I mean,
I want to see what would happen. It might work.
the thing is, like, Eddie is like he's still won a championship, you know, and maybe it's like that squirrel finding the nut every now and then, like talk about with Mitch. But like, you can't ever take that away from him. He has earned that. He is a championship winning owner in our league. So the fact that you're trying to be like, JMO should take over his team. No, Mitchell. JMO should take over your team because you make terrible trades.
Rather
and credit to Eddie's point,
you,
even though he's
myself, and my dog before I did that.
Eddie's in he's in probably the worst slump we've seen in TGI fantasy. But not only did he win that championship, but he was like legitimately like up there for 4 years straight. So like it's not that like I don't think Eddie's bad. I think he's just in a really, really sad spot.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he could have a jolt of energy by the Mr. Stone. You know,
I zero agree with you.
Well, I mean, I've got a better record than him, so
yeah. I don't know. I guess I had a question, and that was I was wondering from your guys' perspective if Eddie's prime was legit or if it was an illusion. But I think we kind of just answered that. I think we're kind of all in agreement, or I guess we're all in agreement, but some agree more than others that like Eddie's good and he's just like going through a like extended rough patch.
Is Eddie? Wait, let me think. Is he Kimi Räikkönen or is he Kiki Rosberg? Is the question, and I think he's Kimi Räikkönen.
I agree with that, but please stop trying to make motorsport analogies.
Well, one
it's
of them
not
was
working.
No, that was a correct analogy. That one worked.
That was a correct analogy. Yes.
But does the league know motorsport the same way you do?
Do they need to?
No,
or does anything I say come across as coherent?
Andreas is the only other person that's going to get the Kiki Rosberg part of that. But Yeah, I mean those are all of my thoughts on this matchup overall.
Okay, for those who don't know, Kiki Rosberg is the dumbest F1 champion. And he won and then proceeded to do nothing else. Whereas Kimi Räikkönen won one time very early in his career, but was very good for the rest of his career until he got really old. Just like Eddie.
He's younger than you.
Well, old in league terms. He's older than me. He's been here for the whole time, and I've been here for not the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. I think we've heard Mitch's thoughts. What are your thoughts on this, AK?
I think he's like Joylan Cutler Palmer, that F1 driver from 2016 to 2017. You know, like
Holy shit!
short
I know who you're
flashes.
talking about.
Julian Palmer.
What the fuck you say his name? Yeah, he's like short flashes, but you know, he's like maybe you could believe something's there. Except that Eddie's flashes were way greater than Palmer's were.
I am
I think
truly amazed
This
you
is
know
the
who that
dumbest
is.
part of this podcast.
they
Jackson's
really just
gonna
like a
Jackson's
flash in
gonna
the pan.
Jackson's gonna take it out. Is the best part. Like,
I know.
uh,
We have been talking for almost 90 minutes, by the way, and we have not
yeah.
even gotten through the review.
I
I
actually
would, and
just Googled
honestly,
random F1 driver and that came up.
the I was impressed when you named it. Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing: is the
When
preview
you
we're not going to spend a lot of time on.
wait, no, this is important. When you Google random F1 driver, the F1 driver that comes up is Julian Palmer.
No, because like I googled random F1 drivers and it was like, oh, spin the wheel, you know, like random current F1 drivers. And it was like Wikipedia page about random F1 drivers. So like I scrolled down to like recent-ish seasons, you know, like 2017, 2016, you know, that sounds like something you guys would know, but it would still be like random ass ball knowledge that like came out of nowhere. And it was
Yeah,
Joylan
there was a lot of
Palmer.
memes around him. Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Do you want to list your thoughts here, or should we get on to the next game?
We can move on.
No, if you want to talk about it, you can. I just realized that we had been
Um,
going for a
What are
long
your
time.
thoughts?
Um, it upsets me that Marquise is Hollywood Brown in like fantasy. His name is Marquise Brown, but on like the Pro Football Reference, it's like no, on Pro Football Reference he's Marquise Brown, but on fantasy he's Hollywood Brown. That upsets me greatly.
Yeah, I never understood
However,
why they like. Well, so his name is Marquise, but I don't understand why ESPN puts nicknames as player names. I just don't get
yeah,
it. Like Zonovan Knight, his name is Zonovan, but they have him listed as Bam.
that's weird.
Fucking weird.
Yeah,
Was Haha Clinton
Like,
Dix listed as Haha Clinton Dix, or was he listed as his real name?
that's his real name.
well, maybe yeah.
I
But
don't
I've
think.
literally never heard of Rashid Shaheed until like today. I was like preparing my
How?
notes. How
I heard of him.
I live under a little bit of a rock.
I mean, like I will say it shocks me that you haven't heard of him. He's been not overly prominent, but like I'm not totally surprised that someone wouldn't have heard of him. I guess I'm just surprised that you haven't heard of him after like 2 years of fantasy of him being like kind of prominent in fantasy. But I mean, it is just Rashid. Seattle traded for him today, and if I'm being honest, I didn't really feel like we needed him at all. They sent a fourth and a
I mean,
sixth for him, and like Torrey Horton, I think is gonna like I was hoping was gonna break out, and then Cooper Cup's gonna come back from injury. So like I don't know what the hell he's gonna do.
I'm looking at his game log, and it seems like pretty promising this year. He's been
He's a target
about
for is what he is.
yeah. I mean, he had 12 targets in week 8.
He's a
You know,
really
he's
good
never
guy to
been
pick
below
up on.
5.
He's a good guy to pick up on waivers a lot. No one's ever gonna like draft him, but
What are
I
you
mean,
talking about? I
has
think
someone
he's a
drafted
very
him
good.
before?
I think he's a good spot start stash.
I mean, it just always seems like he's getting like picked up every like 3 weeks by someone.
feel like I haven't
And
seen
you
him
know
on the
what?
waiver wire at all.
He puts
Maybe
in
not
good
this
work
season, but
when he does
last
get
season
picked up.
he was on it like all the time. I had him at one point for like 3 weeks, so they got rid of him, and then someone else took him. I don't even think that was the end of it.
The ghost of Jackson's thoughts here says that if Edward James Morlock Hobson comes in last place again for a third time, he should be castrated with a rusty spoon, and either that he should be forced to. I'm not saying that.
He is either. Oh, we're not saying what the next part of the comment is.
No, you can say it. I just don't want to be the
Okay,
one.
so either Eddie should be castrated with a rusty spoon or be forced to attend a pro-Israel rally and then post about it on social media. Those are his two options.
Or we could relegate him to a league with Theo Chunguth and ChatGPT and Mitch.
Personally,
What?
I just feel like attending a pro-Israel rally and posting on it on social media is a great punishment idea.
That is a horrible punishment idea.
I'm with AK. I think it's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
I think it'd be really funny up until it like affects someone's career.
Don't be a politician.
That's hard. It's fun. I have no other skill sets.
Yeah. Did we cover everything? Or are we good to move?
I think we're good to move.
Yeah. So the last matchup of the week, which for some fucking reason has the most notes. I don't know why the hell. It was our other tank bowl, and this one was kind of more of a tank bowl than the one we just talked about. It's Jackson and Ryan, and this was like a genuinely close game, but it was also a hilarious game. Jackson gets to 4-5. Don't know how that happened. He put up 129 to Ryan's 122 as Ryan falls to 2-7 and is in last place in the standings for the second week in a row after never having been last place in the standings ever. But for this game, like I think last week when we looked at this game, we were talking, and I'm pretty sure the notes for the podcast literally just said, "What the fuck are we supposed to talk about this game for?" Because it looked boring as hell. And then halfway through Sunday, Ryan provided us with an instantly memeable chat message that blew up in his face immediately as Jackson then proceeded to beat Ryan for the first time in the regular season. And his only win against Ryan, he was 1-5 going into this, by the way, was a like 129-13 win. And it was because Ryan, like half of Ryan's players were Bills or Bengals players during the Damar Hamlin game. And it was the last game of the season. So he's never beaten them in the regular season before. Yeah. And I like Ryan. This is the hardest he's probably tried in any year in TGI fantasy, and ironically, it's the year where he's drowning. And I don't understand how the more he does, the worse it gets. But
It's the
yeah,
star
Jackson put
gods,
up
man.
129 points last week. His self banishment for this week, he said he needed to score 120 points, and by the will of Brock Bowers, he's going to be allowed back onto the podcast. So, yeah.
Thank you, Brock
Yeah,
Bowers.
yeah. Thank you, Brock Bowers, for getting Jackson off of his suspension and getting him back onto the podcast. It's not the same without him. Uh, but like, I was looking at the notes for this matchup, and it was like, did we write off Jackson too early? His schedule had like a backdoor playoff run, and I was like, sitting there in the middle of the class, I'm like, playoffs? We don't have the playoffs? This guy like should be below 500 by like multiple games. And then I actually looked at his team and his schedule, and I'm like, wait, he could do it. He's got Mitch twice, and I think if he wins both of those games, like on his way out, that's big time for him, and he could make the playoffs. But
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle because he has 3 road games to end the season.
If only that meant something in fantasy. But yeah, no, Jackson. That was my discussion point. Like you covered was that like, did we write Jackson off too early? And by too early, I mean I'm pretty sure everyone in the league wrote him off before the year started because he didn't have a first or a third round pick. and I think his second round pick, or maybe it was his fourth round pick, was Kenneth Walker, who's getting cucked by Mike McDonald. But yeah, like Jackson is 4-5 somehow. His team is, it seems like, finally figured it out. His points scored leaves a lot to be desired, but if you look at his recent weeks, he's actually pretty competitive. So assuming that's the norm, um, like I think every week we've talked about a new person who's the leading person in like the midfield of teams that's like got the best chance to make a backdoor run at the playoffs. Um, uh, who was, I think, like the first week it was Cleo, and then last week it was Eddie, because Eddie's team looked like it was going in the right direction. Psych. But yeah, I mean Jackson's 4-5. His team's not particularly great, but he might have the easiest schedule for the end of the year because he has Mitch twice. But like I'm not saying he's going to win out, but there's a real possibility this man could win 4 of his last 5 and go 8-6, and at that point he might be too far back to get in on points for. But this motherfucker has tiebreak over me, and I think he has Andreas left on his schedule. I think is the only like top team that he has left to play. I could be wrong about that. So like going 8-6, there's a legit shot that he could tie break into the playoffs if he wins 4 of his last 5, um, which is weird to think about because I like just no one thought Jackson was going to be competitive. I don't think this year.
I agree with all of that, but I think you are ignoring is the wrong word. You are fuck, I can't think of the word. You're not considering the factor involved here that Mitch always locks in for D series because he wants a 6-pack of beer. And so I mean he could act as a huge spoiler against Jackson's potential playoff chances.
Yeah, but you don't lock in against Jackson. You're 1-6 against him, and we'll get to that later on.
Yeah, well, this series didn't exist until this year or last year.
This year.
This year, we
Yeah.
talked
This year.
about it last year.
Did we?
I think we did.
No, I remember definitely being like bored at work one day and just being like, "Hey, Spencer, we should make salary."
I think we
Yeah,
pointed out that
is,
there was now 4 people who all took German in high school.
I see. I didn't
And-
realize that Jackson took German in high school, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he did.
I spam him with German reels.
Yeah.
Mitchell, I would spam you too if you actually opened Instagram every fucking once a week.
It's about once a month, actually.
Exactly.
Unless Alejandro
Exactly.
sends me something, and then I check that.
Jackson left notes here, talking about Brock Bowers and his affinity for him, and he said he was going to name his first child after Brock Bowers. So Brock Bowers put up 49.3 points, which is good. It ties 10th all time for the highest player score, discounting 2018. I know Alvin Kamara's in there somewhere, but ESPN won't let me see the scoring for that year. But he also said that if he finishes higher than me, which is not an impossible chance at this point, that he's going to make fun of me and bring it up at my wedding. So,
Naming
just for
a
that
kid
reason, I need to
after
finish ahead of him.
naming a kid after Brock Bowers, if you're Jackson Grant, is actually like a pretty. I mean that's pretty. That's kind of like if killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because he's also naming his kid after Brock Purdy.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like it.
It's just a very efficient name, very meaningful in terms of football player names.
You know, then his kid
What if
will
his
be like,
first
"Am I
kid's
named
a
after
girl? Is
Brock
there
Bowers.
a feminine version of Brock?
Brockette. Brooke?
I think it is Brooke.
Brooke?
Yeah. Barack.
Barack
Brock.
Yeah.
Bowers Obama?
Yeah. So that concludes our recap for the week.
Only an hour and a half into the recording.
Yeah, good luck, Jackson.
Whatever
Yeah,
you do not look
taking
up
on to our
Barack
next
Obama's
segment.
middle name.
Our next segment, it's quick and easy. It's our Theo Whitehead GM lowlight of the week. And despite trying his hardest and giving me 2 bits of material to work with, it is not Mitch this week. And I was fully planning on this being a Mitch only award. Um, but then Ryan Williams dropped one of the funniest things into the chat, and that's justifying, basically Babe Ruthing himself a win and guaranteeing it in the chat, trying to justify his poor roster management in an argument by basically stating that it was okay because it didn't matter, he was going to win his game. And then he proceeded to lose, not necessarily to Jackson, but to Brock Bowers. And I think that just kind of sums up Ryan's season for the whole year. Also,
Fuck, Brock Bowers scored 49 points?
I just said that.
I did not hear that part. I knew he scored a lot.
Yeah, this just brings a smile to my face because once upon a time, in I think it was the 2021 season, I went up against Ryan in the first round of the playoffs, and I think I was the 2 seed. This was, I think, the year before or 2 years before we had the first round bye. And I went up against Ryan Williams, and my team shit the bed. I put up like 71 points. Ryan's team also shit the bed. And his team was on pace to score less than mine, and I was going to sneak into the second round. Except Travis Kelce went off for 40 points. This motherfucker scored 75 points to my 71, and Travis Kelce had 40 of those 75. Knocked me out of the playoffs, and I proceeded to top score the last 2 weeks. And so Travis Kelce basically cock blocked me from a championship. So him getting that treatment from a player on top of his comment in the chat, just it makes me smile. Yeah, and I will never forget that. Leading off of that, Jackson's not here, but he's still doing his weekly hot take.
I can read his hot take if you want.
Yeah, go take it away, Mitch.
So Jackson's hot take of the week is that Travis Hunter should get negative points for being a corner. Every reception, yard, and touchdown he gives up should count against his stats. And he is saying this is his hot take for no reason or bias.
Yeah, definitely not because he's on your team now.
Yep, definitely not because of that at all.
Yeah. Well, so that concludes Jackson's hot take. He will be back next week to be able to give his hot take with his own vocal cords. Carrying on, we have 2 segments left. Sorry, Jackson. For all your troubling woes that you're going to have to do with editing. We're going to preview week 9. We're going to kind of give a little glimpse at some of these games coming up. And then we're going to get into our guest segment that AK has put in 4 times the effort preparing for than I was expected, and I think we're in for a treat. So, covering our week 9 games, our game of the week, it's maybe not the highlight game of the week, but it's the one I wanted to highlight this week, and it was Eddie and Andreas. Eddie leads this series 5-3, and he's sitting at 3-6. But again, his team is putting up decent numbers, and Andreas might be class of the league right now in points. So we could get some fireworks this week. These are 2 teams that also historically just fuel the jet in the second half. They go full FTJ. More so Eddie than Andreas. If you look back through Eddie's timeline history, I think only 1 year since 2020, he's had a losing record in the second half. So Eddie might be able to turn it around this week. But I also firmly believe that Eddie's while I kind of flamed him a bit, his team is definitely better than his record is showing. But like he's in some serious shit if he can't get a win this week. He'll be sitting at 3-7, and the bottom of the league is so tight right now that like that might be a death sentence for him. Over the course of 2 weeks, it really feels like this has turned from, oh, Eddie might be able to make a run at the playoffs, to Eddie needs to figure it out or he's in serious danger of being in that bottom bracket. So I think this is going to be a great game to watch for the week. Another game that we have um, is a actual clinch scenario. It's me and Nagel. I'm at 5-4. It's not me that's clinching. It's Nagel. Nagel's at 8-1, and I spent time on the playoff machine, and the playoff machine told me wrong. But I went through like painstakingly. I spent 30 minutes on this, checking over and over, and there is one scenario, or two scenarios, but one realistic scenario um, this week where Nagel can clinch a wild card berth or a playoff berth. Um, and it would be the tied for the second earliest playoff berth in week 10. Logan did it in week 9 by starting 9-0 in 2023. Here's what needs to happen for Nagel to clinch a playoff spot this week. No matter what ESPN tells you, I have checked. So Nagel needs to beat me, first of all. AK needs to beat Cleo to drop Cleo to 4-6. Um, basically guaranteeing that Cleo's best record can be 8-6, and Nagel will be 9-1. But then after that, one of two things needs to happen. Eddie either needs to beat Andreas to drop Andreas to 5-5, making me, Andreas, and either Mitchell or Jackson, it does not matter who, be 5-5, because we all play each other one more time the rest of the year, basically guaranteeing that at least two of us are going to have 6 losses at the end of the year, and therefore the 6th seed will have 6 losses, and so Nagel will be cleared. That either needs to happen, or Mitch and Jackson need to tie. That guarantees that both of them, their max record will be 8-5-1. So therefore, the top 6 seeds will be locked in no matter what. One of those two scenarios needs to happen. Jackson and Mitch tying is probably not realistic, but there is a scenario where Nagel can clinch this year,
It'd be
or
funny if we
clinch
did.
this week. It would be. I'm actually holding out that someone does it. But now here's why clinching a playoff berth now, while Nagel is almost guaranteed to make the playoffs, we've seen weird stuff happen before, specifically with Logan. Um, Nagel is about to start an absolute gauntlet where starting this week he's going to play me, and then he's going to play A Russ, and then Cam, or Landon, and then Cam. Um, so Nagel has pretty much coasted through his first 9 weeks, and now he gets all the top scores minus Andreas left. So getting that buffer and like surrounding his team in a bubble might be very imperative for him down the stretch. But not only to open that gauntlet up, Nagel is like a huge underdog this week. He's projected 111, I think, and my team is projected 146, which is the highest projection so far this year by 5 points. Um, Not that projections are everything, but Nagel is going into this game as a projected underdog, and it's not even like a ha-ha underdog. It is a very much like ESPN is projecting that he's going to lose. But Nagel's been the underdog 5 times in his 9 games this year by projection, and he's 8-1. So I think it's fair to say that Nagel can thrive as an underdog. Piggybacking off of any playoff scenarios, if Andreas and I both win our games this week, um, the door to the playoffs is basically going to be like half closed for anyone who's trying to make an outside run. As much as we've talked how fun it would be to see someone try and do it like Jackson or Cleo or Eddie. Not Mitch. I just don't have faith in that.
I think it'd be pretty fun if I did.
I don't.
You don't even know that your team is good enough to make the playoff run.
I mean, as AK pointed out, that fantasy football is 70% the car, 30% the driver. You know.
Yeah, but when you're sitting here and if Andreas and I both win, then minimum there's 3, 6, and 4 teams locking out the last 3 spots, and if Landon wins, then it's 2, 6, and 4 teams and a 7 and 3 team. And when the top 6 teams in the standings right now are top 6 and points scored, it just looks bleak. We're gonna coast through the last 5 so we can get to the last segment here. Cellar Dweller rivalry is what I'm calling it. It's Mitch and Jackson's rivalry. They've played 7 times. Mitch, how the hell are you 1-6 against Jackson? Jackson is one like statistically until 2 years ago, like the only person worse than him statistically was you. So I don't understand how you're 1-6 against him.
Well, okay, wait. How many of Jackson's wins were in the season where I did well? 2022.
Probably zero.
Don't change that note. I want that.
Backwards.
I'm keeping that the same. Wait, what? Sorry, Spencer. Did you?
I misspoke. I was gonna say probably one or both. I think you played twice that year.
I think he beat me. Didn't we face in the playoffs that year? Didn't Jackson and I both go?
I have no idea. All I know is that you're 1-6 against him.
Okay, well, I think that season I lost 3 times to him, and I think it's because he drafted my team, and I think he designed a team that he would win against.
Well, that's your fault for giving your rival access to your roster.
Okay, well, I was working Caterland, bitch. I didn't have phone service.
Yeah. Well, so before Jonathan Taylor had gotten traded, I put the question in here. That was the game I wanted to play each week.
Yeah.
That was what percentage of Mitch's points was Jonathan Taylor going to get this
I
week?
have a theory. I think 0. I think he will score 0% of my points.
I think he's going to score 10% of your points.
I think Jonathan Taylor's going to score. Okay, well, I'll take that. You want to put money on that?
No. I'm already taking your money.
We'll see.
No, because I feel like Mitchell might trade back for Jonathan Taylor just to make that prediction come untrue.
If you think A-Russ is giving up Jonathan Taylor, then nah.
Yeah, I'm happy with I got Travis Hunter, man.
Covering some of our other matchups this week, we have Cleo and AK, which is technically an important not rivalry. I mean, it is kind of rivalry. I think it's the second or third most played series in league history. But what I was trying to say is it's kind of important for the playoffs in a sense that, I mean, AK's basically seeded the rest of this year, but Cleo needs everything that she can get to make any chance at this. AK leads the series 8-6. Cleo is starting Romeo Dobbs and Malik Washington, and that is one of the most cursed wide receiver lineups I've ever seen. Because Lord knows that ESPN is going to project Malik Washington to get 12 points, and Malik Washington is going to get 8. So, yeah. Next up, we have Cam and Ryan, another ginger battle. I didn't realize it, but until I looked at the matchup, that Cam is probably going to get sauced by bye weeks again. But this is also Ryan we're talking about. But yeah, Cam has like 4 or 5 players on bye again, which makes sense why he hasn't had any hardship other than the bye week that he had, because the rest of his players were on bye this week. But yeah, A-Russ and Logan are playing each other. A-Russ is probably going to win this game by 20 plus. There's not much to talk about this, though. They're both starting hilarious teams here. So who do you guys gonna think oh my god, who do you guys think is gonna be the bigger X factor for this game? Is it gonna be Kendrick Bourne or Aaron Jones?
A question from hell.
Yeah,
I'm
both are gonna
gonna
score 8 points. So
I'm gonna rule in favor of Aaron Jones just because he's got that he used to be good, so I'm not ready to give up on the unk.
are you saying
I'm gonna
Kendrick
go with
Bourne was
Aaron
never good?
Jones purely because I've literally never seen Kendrick Bourne do anything of note.
Yeah. Last game of this week is Landon versus Henry. It's a pretty cut stone game where Landon's 6-3, Henry's 3-6. The only thing of note is that Henry is 4-0 against Landon, so there might be some spoiler played there. It's weird to me that Landon, this is his third season, and so basically he and Henry have just played in the playoffs twice. But other than that, um, that's our game slate for this week. We're gonna get into our guest segment here, where AK is he's been painstakingly putting this list together all day. He is going to be rating the moms of the TGI fantasy rostered quarterbacks in the league.
Thank you, Spencer. I just want to begin by saying this is not based off any sort of physical appearance. We are not trying to rate them based off of how attractive they are, anything of that nature. TGI Fantasy would never objectify women, and I'm currently moving to get this added to the bylaws. With that being stated, I would like to begin, and I will start with my own team. And we're going to start with Bo Nix, my starting quarterback. His mom's name is Krista Nix, and she has a very pleasant smile. And I was googling these nice women. There was only so much information I could find about every single mom. However, with Krista, I could find her Instagram, and when I opened it up, it was this very much so suburban Instagram mom, being like, "I'm proud of my kids." And I actually learned that they adopted Tez Johnson, the Tampa Bay wide receiver, when he was 15, well before even Bo Nix was a superstar NFL player, even before he was really a college well-known player. And it kind of reminded me
Yeah,
of the Blind Side, but with less lawsuits.
I actually
So,
didn't know that until last week. So
yeah,
Also, actually, I learned that during the Lions game. That's kind of
really.
adorable.
And I just learned that today, so maybe I've been living under a rock.
Yeah, it wasn't even. Yeah, it is like the Blind Side, but it's not kind of evil.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Sandra Bullock make a movie about this?
Because Sandra Bullock only wants to cash a paycheck.
That's true.
But Tez Johnson went to Oregon, which makes me now think that why did Bo Nix go to Oregon as a transfer student? Was it because of Tez? I'll leave that open to the viewers to decide.
I think they were even before he was adopted. I think they were friends.
Really, they were. I didn't do a ton of research. I had a lot of
how
quarterback
did you
I'm
get to
information.
going
know more
entirely off of
about
what
this
Joe
than we
Buck
did?
told me.
Is Joe Buck really a trustworthy source?
I don't know. They showed a video of Bo Nix getting drafted, and Tez Johnson was jumping up and down for joy on the couch.
Oh shit! Maybe they're best friends.
I think they might be. It's kind of adorable.
Uh, well, that's why she got a 10 out of 10 rating because she's a great person. Adopted this kid who needs some help. And now they're both in the NFL. Her biological son and her adopted son. Next, I am going to Joe Burrow's mom, Robin Burrow. Joe Burrow is rostered, even though he's been on the IR for maybe about a month now. I think she's really great. She's a retired elementary school principal. Really great, helping out the young kids, educator. And she won the Cincinnati Enquirer, which is a newspaper, think Des Moines Register, Woman of the Year last year. However, I have to give her -1 point because she has an inconsistent naming scheme. She has Jamie, Joe, and Dan as her three sons, only kids. And I'm like, all right, you've got two J names. Thirdly, you could figure out a third J name. You know, like the fact that your name is Dan, while you have Jamie and Joe as brothers, upsets me greatly. And that's why you get -1 point to give Robin Burrow a 9 out of 10. Next, we're moving on to Spence's team. He only has one quarterback, and that is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's mom is Holly Herbert, and there was a lot of confusion trying to figure out information about Holly Herbert. So, first off, conflicting reports about whether she went to Washington State or Oregon for her education, and I saw a source that said like she went to the Final Four in women's basketball at Oregon, and then I also saw other sources that were like she went to Washington State and didn't play a sport. So I'm like, is she trying to steal valor as a student athlete? You know, like what the fuck is this? And I also saw something that said she had died from a stroke a week ago. And so I go down this rabbit hole trying to figure out all this information, being like, oh my God, is she dead? You know, a week ago, that's pretty breaking news. There's not going to be like a ton of sources about this. Turns out completely a hoax. And I ended up down this rabbit hole where I'm just like watching about like Madison Beer's dating history. Now that Madison Beer's with Justin Herbert, that's what's coming up. So I'm just like, there is a ton of confusion that's been caused by this, and it causes me to rate Holly Herbert a 5 out of 10 because of the confusion caused by it. And it was really just like wasting my time. Only a 5 out of 10 because it's not like she caused it. You know, these are really just like, in my opinion, internet trolls.
Could you
But
imagine how
wild.
funny it would have been if she had actually died a week ago and you still had to do this segment?
yeah, it would have been really fucked. And I'll talk about that in the future because this is not the first time that I was apparently finding out that someone's mom had died a week ago.
Oh my
Could have
God.
rated his dad.
uh, moving on to Cleo's team, we have Daniel Jones's mom, Becca Jones. She really is just like living off the grid. She does not have much of a digital footprint beyond her kids. Um, she had four kids, all of them go D1, including Daniel. But she also has a daughter named Becca, and I'm like, well, that's kind of narcissistic for me. And the way I see it, it's like you're wasting my time trying to find out information about you. You know, like please just have a LinkedIn so I can figure out your education, your work history, all this stuff. So I can't find your history, and you just got a daughter who you named after yourself, not even like Becca Jr., just Becca Jones as well. So
I feel like
that's a 4 out of
Maybe her middle name is
abnormal.
different.
It's abnormal for like girls to have the same name as their mom. Like it's kind of a bit more normalized for like father son, but it's not something you normally see. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I already think it's kind of weird when father and son do it. It's
Yeah,
really weird when the mom does it with her daughter. I don't think I have ever heard of that.
I agree with Mitch. I think it's weird when the father son does it. I think it's just a little bit narcissistic, but it's at least little more normalized in our culture. When mom and daughter do it, it's just like it rubs me in the wrong way. I don't like it. Now moving on to Cleo's other quarterback, we have Brock Purdy's mom, Carrie Purdy. Also, by the way, I gave Becca Jones a 4 out of 10, if I didn't say that. But Carrie Purdy, it is canon in her life that she has been to Des Moines, Iowa. And so Brock Purdy got married in Des Moines at Plymouth Church nearish Roosevelt, and their wedding reception was at the River Center in downtown Des Moines, kind of by Sac Taylor Stadium. And then that is
I
the
think
same place
no, the wedding reception was on Grand Avenue.
it was?
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
I've been
I
spread some
I catered a
misinformation.
wedding there.
Really?
Fuck, what is it called? Yeah, it's on like Grand and 63rd, or like right by there. It like across from Biztown.
I'm getting different results from a quick Google search, Mitch.
I don't remember the name of the venue.
I'm pretty sure what's right across from Biztown is a Pizza Hut.
Okay, not literally right across from Biztown.
No, I know what Mitch is talking about, but I'm Googling it. It just says River Center. And when I was at a wedding reception at River Center, they said that Brock Purdy had his wedding there. So that's what I was basing my information off.
Well, I'm basing my information off of what Stephanie Flora told me.
Well, Stephanie Flora might
Stephanie
be.
Flora. Oh my god.
Are
She
you
might be gorgeous,
eating?
but
Yeah.
Okay.
Stephanie Flora might be gorgeous, but I don't know if her information about Brock Purdy's wedding can be 100% trusted.
I don't know. She seemed to follow it very closely.
Well,
That feels so random for her.
assuming that Brock Purdy's wedding was held at the River Center on East 3rd Street, or no, just 3rd Street, downtown Des Moines. It is the same place where the Vended drummer Simon Cran got married to his wife Lily, and I was at that wedding. So I think it was a great time. That gives her plus points. Overall, looking at her Instagram, which was fortunately public, her Instagram name was Big Bird Carrie, which I thought was funny. And like looking at it, like once again seemed like a proud like mother, you know. A lot of Brock Purdy stuff. Believe it or not, when you have an NFL son quarterback, you get post a lot about him. Suba was not really posted that much. I think he needs to step up his game. Clearly the least favorite child. He was mentioned in the bio, but not really a ton of posts about him. He needs to work up his game. And then there was another rumor about her dying within the last week. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with everyone's mom? Why are they dying? But just I never found any information that confirmed either Carrie Purdy or
Is she
Holly
still
Herbert
alive?
had died. To my knowledge, she's still alive. It was like one like Facebook post being like how Brock Purdy is dealing with his mother's death, and then like another like YouTube video being like, this is a scam. Like this isn't real. So I just chose not to believe it.
You really can't just like make shit up.
Exactly. You just post whatever you want.
I should just start doing that.
Mm-hmm. So because Carrie Purdy has been to Des Moines, lore accurate, even if there's some discrepancies about where the reception was, been to Des Moines. She's also a business owner, sells like pools and like installation. It's a girl boss moment. So she's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I can't find any reason not to give her a 10 out of 10. Moving on to A-Russ's team, his quarterback is Jordan Love. His mom's name is Anna Love, retired California patrol officer. Once again, girl boss moment. However, there was some issue with naming Jordan. You know, she wanted to. No, the father wanted to name it Michael Jordan Love. However, she managed to settle on Jordan Love. Not sure about his middle name. Probably gonna figure that out. Still, like minus like 1 point because like Michael Jordan Love, kind of a fire name. However, she did raise Jordan as a single mother when Jordan's dad killed himself in 2013 when Jordan was 15. So she had to go through a lot of hardship and trials and tribulation raising him, sending him off to college, you know. And it's just like she put in a lot of effort, and I want to appreciate that. And if you remember a couple years ago, she goes to every game that Jordan plays in. Remember when the Chiefs put her in the absolute nosebleeds, the like last row of Arrowhead?
This poor woman is just getting like,
yeah,
just getting like hit from all sides. Like, first, she's got to raise her son after his dad died. Well, commit suicide, and then the Chiefs decide to just like put her in. That sucks.
I mean, Google
This
it.
poor woman, dude.
How does this
She was
affect
the
Michael
last.
Jordan's legacy?
It does not. Michael Jordan does not give a fuck about his legacy. He has been burning bridges since he like retired the first time. But I just thought it was funny and it like reminded me of that when like I genuinely made it the last row of Arrowhead Stadium. So I gave her a
That
9
is
out
the
of 10.
last row of Arrow.
Yeah,
That
Mitchell,
is
you
the
looking up right now?
top. Yeah, that is literally the furthest away possible moment. Like she could be in the game. And the Packers lost.
Yeah. So I give her a 9 out of 10. -1 point for not calling him Michael Jordan Love.
Not only she went
A-Russ,
to a game where he went 19 through 34 and got 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
and you know what? She still loves his son.
Yeah. I would have trouble loving my son after that performance, honestly.
Uh, so A-Russ has another quarterback rostered, CJ Stroud. His mother's name is Kimberly Stroud, and she is a property manager. So they kind of like immediately give me like a little bit of an ick. I don't like landlords too much. However, she was a single mother of 4, and she really tried to motivate CJ Stroud to pursue his dreams despite the rough circumstances coming up. And it's like there was not a ton of information about Kimberly out there. However, I'm gonna give her a 7 out of 10 because she pushed CJ to follow his dreams. However, once again, I'm getting a little bit of like blindside vibes. Like if you send a son up to send if you send a son off to the NFL, you're gonna make money. So I'm just like a little bit of me like, how much was this pushing CJ to make his dream based off of financial incentive, or was it really just like I want to support my son? However, I don't have any proof to support the latter theory, so she still gets a 7 out of 10, despite being like not a ton of information out there. Moving on to Logan's team, we
Which
have Joe.
Missy Murray is she on LinkedIn?
I don't know.
How do you find her in the first place?
Because I did this all earlier today. I googled like a billion fucking moms.
Oh, okay.
It's one where she has in her work experience unemployed.
That's awesome.
And she currently works for like the CJ Stroud, or not the CJ Stroud, like the Kyler Murray like foundation.
Okay, cool.
But
Totally irrelevant to what we're talking about right now, by
yeah,
the way.
no,
We're not even to that one.
yeah. So Logan's team, Joe Flacco's mom, Karen Flacco, once again could not find a ton of information about her, so we just kind of like kept it a little bit neutral. She's a teacher, but her name's Karen. Karen's a bit of a red flag. Teacher the green flag, kind of balances it out. There's a picture of her, and just she looked like female Matt Stafford. Was the first impression, and I could
Really
not get that out of
does.
my mind. Yes, Mitchell agrees with me. He
I
understands. He
mean, like,
understands.
she's very pretty. I didn't realize a female Matt Stafford would be like an attractive archetype, but she is.
Are you just saying that because like uh
No, I
Matt Stafford
genuinely,
used to play
she
for the
has nice
Lions?
hair.
No, she does. She does. But I encourage everyone watching this to Google Karen Flacco, and there's a picture of her that comes up. She's looking to her right, and it just looks like female Matt Stafford. But because there wasn't a ton of information, she got 5 or 10, just like right down the middle. Is there anything?
Oh yes, she does. That's all. Yeah, no, I can confirm for anyone that doesn't want to look it up. Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like.
I gotta say, Joe Flacco, until he was like 35, was absolutely chopped.
Oh my god. Ugh.
This guy
But
got really hot when he became like an adult.
It was when he
he
grew
was
his
an adult.
beard. He was kind of like lame until he grew a beard.
Well, you
Dude,
two guys can
same.
attest that like growing the beard is like a crutch.
That's a trope in TV tropes. If you growing a beard is when a show like realizes when it's like good.
Like
Because
Jeff Lemire.
Well,
yeah,
Spencer, do you remember when you had a beard?
Yeah, that was so long ago.
Back in Doji. Uh, so next up is Kyler Murray's mom, Missy Murray. Once again, not a ton of information. However, she was born in South Korea, so she had to immigrate to the U.S. And she has a funny LinkedIn page because basically what she does is she runs the Kyler Murray Foundation, essentially like philanthropy for Kyler Murray. And I wrote down that it's funny because at one point she put in her work experience that she was unemployed for like a year and 3 months. And I just like personally, I would not be putting that on my LinkedIn, so I thought that was funny. It gave me a little chuckle. Uh, so I gave her a 6 out of 10. Just funny LinkedIn page plus 1 point. What can I say?
I wonder
Next
how
up,
much she got paid for the unemployment.
probably millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Next up,
was
I
it
have.
unemployment by choice though?
I do not recall. I don't think her LinkedIn page said.
Got it.
Next up, we have Nancy Goff, and I did not write this, so I assume one of you two did, and I would love for you to take over.
That wasn't me. No.
Um, I didn't realize Logan had 3 quarterbacks. Okay, yeah. So first of all, her son, future MVP, obviously. Um, I meant to say I accidentally said. Did we lose the bot, or did you kick me?
I didn't do shit.
Did anyone else's chat just die?
I think that was you only.
Yeah. Okay. My bad.
Okay, Craig is still recording,
Good.
as far as I can tell. Also, she looks kind of like Nikki Haley, but like in a hot way. So that's cool. And her name is Nancy, which is the title of a Weasel Stomping Day song, the famous Iowa City indie rock band. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna give. I gave her a 9 out of 10, and I'll stand by that.
Right on, right on. Like I was honestly surprised. I was just like writing my notes, and suddenly one of them was done, and I was like, "All right, well, I'm not gonna complain." So moving on to Eddie's team, he only has one quarterback. That is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's mom is Felicia Jones. She is Lamar's manager, actually. Fun fact, Lamar Jackson does not have like a manager or an agent. It is his mom.
She's the
Uh,
Anthony Hamilton of football.
exactly. I don't fully understand the reference, but
Lewis
yeah, I
It's
get
Hamilton's
it.
another
manager
goddamn
was his
motorsport
dad.
reference.
Lewis Hamilton's manager was his dad until like 2018, I think.
I honestly thought like Alexander Hamilton, so I'm glad it was not. But so Lamar Jackson's dad died from a heart attack in 2005,
Jesus
leaving
Christ.
Lamar and his 3 siblings to like fend for themselves, essentially, raised by their mom, Felicia. Felicia is pretty involved in Lamar's life. She used to be a collegiate basketball player, so she's been around the athletic side of things. And she just really has like taken a very hands-on approach, and I think it's worked out well. Lamar Jackson got a big time contract. And after I believe it was their playoff loss last year to the Eagles. Someone fact check me on that. But she cussed out her son, and Lamar in a press conference was like, "Yeah, like I deserved it. Like it needed to happen, you know." Um, so like she's hands on, but like in a good way. So I give her 10 out of 10 for putting in the effort. Next, moving on to Larissa Rupp's brother. Only has one quarterback on the roster. That is Dakota Prescott. Dakota Prescott's mom is Peggy Prescott. She unfortunately has been dead for 12 years now. She died from colon cancer in 2013. And not a ton of information on her, other than the fact that following her death, Dak decided to create a foundation in her honor, fighting cancer, specifically colon cancer. And that is kind of what led to him getting the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which if you ever watch a Cowboys game, you'll see he has it on his jersey. And so I'm like, well, beyond all that, that's 10 out of 10. I can't find any reason to give her any minus points. She's just like,
Created Dak Prescott, so I mean,
Dak Prescott might be like the Cowboys quarterback. Not a great like fan of that team. Sorry, Henry. Uh, but like she didn't personally do anything wrong.
yeah,
She
but
has a
he's
good
still a
son.
bitch.
He's corny. He's corny, and I'll give him that. But like, he went to Mississippi State. Kind of a shit SEC team, and I respect that.
He's corny, but he's not Mr. Unlimited.
He's
Mr.
not Mr. Unlimited.
Unlimited. So for those reasons, I give Peggy Prescott a 10 out of 10. Just no reason to give her anything less. Moving on to Ryan Williams. First off, Ryan, your mom is hot. Tell her to follow me back on Instagram, please.
Is his mom a
I don't know.
redhead too, or does he get that from his dad?
Neither of them. I think his mom's like more like
Oh,
blonde.
oh, it's recessive.
She's like strawberry blonde, I think.
Kind of
Exactly.
red.
Yeah. Do you remember when I think it was like 2 years ago, Iowa State lost to Iowa in Jack Trice? And so like as I'm leaving the stadium, we're walking past Ryan's tailgate, and his mom's there, and they're like packing up. She's like, "You look like you need a beer right now." She hands me a beer, and then like as I'm walking away, I hear like Ryan's dad be like, "Quit giving away all our fucking beer!" And that was funny to me because she handed me a
That's
free
some
beer
real
for
TGI fantasy lore right there.
yeah. And so like I chugged that shit real quick because I was like, "Well, free beer, you know? What can I say? I needed it right now." But so Ryan has Jackson Dart on his team. His mom is Tara Dart. I got some beef with her, particularly because of her naming of her children. So Jackson is spelled wrong. Why the hell is there an X in there? It should be spelled like Jackson Grant, like a regular person does it. And then Jackson's brother's name is Diesel.
There's
And
no
I
fucking
really
way.
fucking Google it, dude.
Really
That's
important
like
question.
Steel Jance,
Is
if
diesel
you remember.
spelled like the word diesel, or is it spelled the way you spelled it in the notes?
I am not the greatest speller, so I would appreciate like a fact check on that.
Okay, I'm
AK,
gonna
do
look
you
it up.
remember? Do you remember Steel Jance?
Yeah, I remember his fuck
Yeah.
ass haircut.
Okay,
Yeah.
it
Well,
is
first of
it
all,
is spelled normally.
he was a prick of a person. But second of all, his entire family has fuck ass names like that, and his name is ironically like the most normal of all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not great. Um, but yeah, so Jackson spelled terribly. Diesel, what the fuck kind of name is that? And then apparently there's like two sisters out there, but they have been keeping their lives like out of the public. No names, no like
Apparently
information about them
much
really.
younger than he is, so they might both like be like teenagers.
Yeah.
So
And I just
that's
think it
good. But I also assume their names are fucked up.
exactly. I think it's very fortunate that the sisters' names are private because otherwise I'd find more of a reason to give her minus points. I wrote down 4 out of 10, but sitting here talking about these names, it infuriates me. I'm going to dock her down to a 3 out of 10. Um, moving on to Matt Stafford, who is also on Ryan Williams' team. Her name is Margaret Stafford, and the name Margaret reminds me of regular show. You know, kind of.
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that note, that's where my
Crush
mind
on
went to
Margaret
for some reason.
Neglersoll, dude. She was so hot.
She was a fucking bird, Mitchell.
I was able to get over that.
Soundbite that one, please.
All of this is soundboarded, you numpty. It's a fucking podcast.
um, basically, I couldn't find much about Margaret. She stays out of the public eye. Gave her +1 because her name is Margaret. Reminds me of a regular show, Fire Show. Shout out Cole Esplin for actually covering a regular show song with his guitar and his younger brother.
That's cool
Great.
as fuck.
Uh, but I don't really like Matt Stafford's wife because there's like this clip I saw on Instagram Reels of her being like, "Yeah, I actually slept with Matt Stafford's backup back in college because he was being like a dick or whatever." And I'm like,
I
"Well,
think it
I
was
don't
because he was playing badly too, actually.
really. That's what it was. I
Yeah,
couldn't
like
remember the exact reason."
some like just hilariously shitty reason I mean, obviously any reason to sleep with your the backup QB of your boyfriend is bad, but like football related reasons might be the worst reasons. Like at least just
Exactly.
like maybe like find him hot or something. Not like as like a weird psychotic motivational tool.
Yeah, so that's not great. But I can't really reflect that poorly on Stafford's mom too much. It's just like I don't like the family in general. Also, Dylan Raiola, the Nebraska quarterback, is Matt Stafford's godson. Fun
What?
fact.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you ever see the? Oh, sorry.
No, continue.
I was just on the Matt Stafford wife hate train still. You ever see the like comments that she made after like Stafford got booed at the playoff game against the Lions in 2023?
No, I'm not familiar. Can you enlighten me?
She got like really mad and like demanded like the league do something about it because apparently fans were booing her kids, which is like not what was happening. They were booing Matt Stafford. And
Yeah.
she just like transferred the energy onto her children for some reason. And she was like, after all Matt gave for this team, you dare to like, bro, it's a football game. Like, come on.
Like, the fans are passionate. They're going to boo when they want to boo.
Yeah, it's still Matt Stafford. Like we still like him.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the first playoff game they've been to in 30 years, dude. Like, calm down.
Yeah. But yeah, in conclusion, too much about. In conclusion, I couldn't find too much about Margaret, but she gets a 6 out of 10 because her name is Margaret, and that reminds me of a regular show. Moving on to Henry's team, his quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' mom is Randy Martin, separated from Patrick's dad a long time ago. Fun fact, Patrick's dad actually played in the MLB. And this is kind of similar to Margaret, but I could not find a ton of information on her. Kind of a private life, necessarily. However, I really do not like the Mahomes family. I think his wife is annoying. I think his brother is also annoying. So that just kind of stopped me from giving her anything really too high. Apparently, she's an event planner for like weddings and things of that nature. And she does cameos, like, when you can like pay to have like a celebrity like record videos for you.
No, I
I
should
thought
probably get in contact with her then.
exactly, Spencer, you gotta get on that. But just
Yeah.
like I gave her a 6 out of 10 because like, she's kind of doing her thing. Event planner, girl boss, does cameos. Maybe you have to hit up like a cameo for the winner of the league. But I don't like the rest of the family, so I can't give her anything higher. Next up is Jackson Grant. He has one quarterback on his team, that is Drake May. And his mom's name is Amy May. However, it is spelled Amiee. So immediately I'm like, well, you spelled your fucking name wrong, dumbass. Apparently,
Jackson Amy spelled that way is like a legitimate way to spell that.
I don't like
Yeah, but
that.
it's dumb, and I hate
It's
looking
like
at it.
French or
Do
No,
we
I
look
don't
like
like
we live in France?
we literally. What is the name of the city you live in?
The monks.
Vermilion.
What does the flag of the state you live in look like?
Bird.
Hold on,
What
I need
is
to Google
every
this.
other thing on it besides the bird?
The Netherlands flipped a weird way.
Good job.
It looks like a blue bed sheet with like the word South Dakota, the Mount Rushmore state
I
printed
wasn't
on it, and
talking to
like the
you.
sun. I don't care. I'm fucking here. This is my guest segment. Fuck you.
That's
That is
true.
true.
Carry on.
So I'm like, well, you fucking spelled your name wrong, dumbass. Also, apparently she went to UNC and maybe played basketball. Once again, getting
She went to
conflicting
Unk
reports. She went to UNC. Cam Wheelie,
University.
How do
Cam
we
Wheelie,
how
I
do we
need you
think
to,
maybe played basketball? How do we not have a 20 on that?
because trying to figure out about people's moms, they're like not all of them are like in the public eye. Some of them keep to
Yeah.
themselves. So I get like different reports being like, she went to this college, she went to this college, she played basketball, she didn't play a sport. I'm like, well, I don't know what to believe. However, I do know she went to UNC. That was pretty universally said. Drake May went to UNC. Drake May's brother went to UNC. And I'm pretty sure her dad did, or Drake May's dad also went to UNC. So I'm like, what are you hiding? Are the Mays Nepo babies? Are they all just riding off the coast of like their parents going to UNC? How deep does the May UNC legacy go? And I don't like that Amy is hiding legacies while spelling her name wrong. So she gets a 3 out of 10. Fuck you. Next up we have Andreas' team, and he has Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' mom is Pamela Hurts, and Pamela is a teacher. Now, I was kind of realizing at this point that like a lot of the vocations of like NFL moms are like teachers. And I'm like, it's kind of maybe a little bit more of a coincidence. I think you need to Mitchell, you need to go find a teacher out there. You need to marry her and have kids so that you can have an NFL quarterback. I think we're figuring out the system here.
No, I'm gonna go find a German woman and marry her and create the next Amon Ra.
Not Equanimous.
I don't want a non-skill
Um,
position, son.
yeah. Once again, there was limited results out there about Pamela Hurts. Private Instagram, couldn't find anything really on there. Apparently, she maybe was battling cancer.
She actually died last week.
Fuck up, bitch. But I gave her a 6 out of 10. I mean, she's a teacher. I like that. Plus 1 point. Can't find anything else out there. Moving on to Cameron Wheely's team. He has Caleb Williams as his quarterback. Caleb Williams' mom is Dana Price, who is a nail technician, which is why Caleb has his nails done up during games, back in college. And in the pros, a little bit. She is actually also an athlete, played basketball and volleyball at the University of Maryland. The Terrapins. Fun fact, Terrapin is actually a little turtle, not a big turtle. Write that down.
Really, that's so
Um,
disappointing. Their mascot always made it seem like it was like a tortoise.
Well, the word terrapin really sounds like the word you would use for a big turtle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I never.
What do you call a big turtle?
Oh wow, no, I'm looking up an image. These things are like you can fit like 10 of them in the palm of your hand.
Exactly. They are fucking tiny, which is so weird to me that they actually were like, yeah, that's what we want to represent our university. She seems a very unproblematic and supportive mom. She does her son's nails, which creates controversy, if you will, like in quotes. I'm a Bears fan, so I'm gonna back my boy. I don't think the nail thing is a big issue. I mean, back in playing flag football, Samuel Stephenson and I used to paint our fingernails hot pink before a game. But do you
That's
guys
a
remember when
shout.
he lost? Yeah, pretty sure he lives in like Wyoming now. But do you remember when Caleb Williams got clowned on for crying after he lost to Washington? Like, I don't think that's like a big deal. I don't like he plays with passion. I respect that. I would rather have a quarterback who cares and like will cry after a tough loss than doesn't care. So I think that was stupid that people were giving him flack for that. I give
Justin
her an 8
Fields
out of 10.
truther, AK?
What's that?
Are you still a Justin Fields truther?
I was until like 3 weeks ago.
Do you not
I'd like to
remember
imagine.
him ranting about him in my basement?
No, not really. I was pretty drunk.
Justin Fields, day 3 talent.
I just like to imagine there's got to be at least like one Justin Fields truther in Chicago still out there. Like,
Oh,
just
there's
like
so many.
hated and like I just gotta imagine the type of guy that is. Like he's like hidden in a basement, just like covered in like Mike Ditka gear. Just like Justin Fields. Justin Fields would have taken the team to 7-1 by now.
Just like me. But like 8 out of 10, not too problematic, supports his son. What more can you really ask for? Cameron also has Jaden Daniels on his team. Jaden Daniels' mom is Regina Jackson. Apparently, from what I could gather, very much so a helicopter mom. Very involved in Jaden's activities to the point that she became an agent. Like she took the test, got certified to become an agent to better help guide him, although she is not actually his agent. And it's just like I'm looking at what she's doing. Like she seems a helicopter mom. Scares me a little bit, but she doesn't have done too much so far. So I'm giving her a tentative 7 out of 10. Very open to like dropping that quickly if she starts like going off the deep end.
Yeah, she could be else for Verstappen, you know.
Exactly.
That does sound like something else Verstappen would have done.
The next team is Mitchell. Mitchell has a hot mom, and I
Second.
have won. I won her love in a chess match against Finga at a bonfire at Williams' house. So
And yet,
yeah,
you have done nothing about that,
she's
you
too much
pussy
woman
ass
for me.
bitch. She is.
I don't think Emma would appreciate it.
I did once try and call her to invite her to our Christmas party we had at Will's, if you
Yeah, she
remember.
just ignored it.
And she ignored it, but didn't she say that?
He was like, "Oh, that would have been fun. I should have
Yeah.
gone." It's like, you pick up the phone, idiot. Like,
Mitchell, get your mom on that.
There were other parents there.
I know.
So Mitch, you got Sam Darnold on your team. Sam Darnold's mom is Chris Darnold, and that originally like struck me like negative, but then I realized I also know another mom named Chris, so like maybe I shouldn't tweak out too hard. Um, Once again, not a lot of information on Chris, but the Darnold family apparently has some great names going on. So Chris played volleyball at Long Beach City College in California. So I'm like, all right, you got some athlete background. And Sam Darnold apparently has a grandpa named Dick Hammer.
Is that
Which
true?
is,
That's gotta be a joke.
there was
That's
multiple sources being
awesome.
like, "What you know about the Olympian Dick Hammer?"
Oh my goodness. Oh wait, no, I did hear about this because I did know his grandpa was
He
an
was an
Olympian.
Olympian?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, okay, so Dick Hammer was probably doing the Olympics during the period of time at which the Olympics committee was run by a man named Dick Pound.
Oh my god!
Is that true? There's no
Yeah,
way.
have you ever heard of Dick Pound?
No,
No.
never.
Yeah, he was like the head of the IOC for um yeah, he's the longest serving member of the IOC. And he's
Huh.
been doing it ever since 1987. So as long as between 2024 and 1987 was the time in which Dick Hammer competed. He competed under Dick Pound.
God. Well, Mitchell, I'll let you do the research on Dick Hammer about when he competed to find that out. But,
Dropping straight facts in the fantasy football podcast about Dick Hammer.
Dick Hammer was hot.
Mitch.
Mitch, shut the fuck up.
Mitch, shut the fuck up.
No, he competed in the 1964 Summer Olympics, so he competed maybe alongside Dick Pound. He was a swimmer.
This is getting better and better.
Oh, Chris Darnold gets a 7 out of 10 just for having funny names in her family. Um, Mitchell also has Baker Mayfield, whose mom is Gina Mayfield, who not a ton of information we found on her, but she apparently came up with the name Baker, but had to convince Baker's dad to make that his name because he wanted the middle name to be Reagan. So it's Baker Reagan Mayfield. I'm just like, L both parents. Why are you guys dying on these hills?
Good
Gina gets a
names.
4 out of 10 for being a weird namer because Baker is not a great name.
It's better than Jackson spelled with an X.
It is better than Jacksonville with an X, but Baker.
I'm pretty terminally online, but I don't think I would ever name a kid after a politician.
Yeah, Reagan.
Especially like a modern politician. Maybe I'd name a kid like Rutherford Hayes Walsmith or something, but I'm not naming him Reagan.
Yeah.
Like, when was Baker Mayfield born? Like, that must have been like literally like a couple of years after.
He would have been born in the 90s.
He was born 1995.
Yeah, so he was 6 years removed from. That's like maybe your kid, like Joe Biden.
Oh my god.
I guess it's like maybe your kid Donald Trump, because 6 years ago Donald Trump was president. But
Are you also laughing at this book cover?
Yeah.
you didn't see that. This is why the PowerPoint needs visuals. I mean, we need a PowerPoint with visuals, Spencer. Other people can't see this.
I can add it in if someone reminds me. I can go and add it in.
We can have this segment of pictures. We could have have it flash up pictures of the moms. You know.
It
Yeah,
depends on how much time I
a
have on my
picture
hands.
of we need Karen Flacco so everyone can see that what a female Matt Stafford looks
It's
like.
like female Matt
Yeah, I can throw that in there too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
Gina Mayfield 4 out of 10.
in case we don't put pictures in the video, Dick Pound released a book called Inside the Olympics, and the cover of it is a presumably a runner holding a baton, but it's really close up, and it kind of just looks like someone gripping a cock.
I thought it was like a gymnast like holding one of those bars.
I honestly can't really tell what it is because it mostly just looks like penis.
Yeah, I think AK's right.
I think that's definitely possible.
All right,
Mitch, what the
let's
hell
lock.
does your penis look like?
Like that. Or like a belt.
That was a community joke, by the way. That was a community joke.
So we're gonna try to wrap it up here with Nagel's team. He has 2 quarterbacks. Believe it or not, they are both white. Josh Allen's mom is Levon Allen. Someone can correct me on that. She is basic as fuck. She grows up in a farming background, and she used to own a restaurant, and that was really all the information I could find. Other than the fact that she made her kids do unpaid slave labor, just like what Spencer did to Aris and I this summer at his house. She gets a 4 out of
You
10.
willingly
Please be
showed
more
up.
interesting. Shut the fuck up. I mean, please don't talk. 4 out of 10. Please be more interesting. Please stop being in the middle of fucking nowhere. And here we go. I think we saved probably one of the greatest moms for last. We have Aaron Rodgers' mom, Darla Lee Pittman Rogers. First off, why do you have 4 names? Because anytime I looked up anyone else's like Josh Allen mom, it came up with 2 names, first name and last name. So all I can assume is that Darla Lee Pittman Rogers is like her normal name, and there's some middle name out there that we don't know. So I'm like, why do you have 4 names, and why are they all first names? Has not spoken to Aaron Rodgers since 2014, 11 years ago.
I
I
forgot that he doesn't talk to his family.
And I do not blame her. I am not a fan of Aaron Rodgers because I'm a Bears fan. Also, Aaron seems like a fucking weirdo. However, he can still sling that rock, and I appreciate that. He is becoming slowly a immaculate grid legend. And she blamed her family discourse on Olivia Munn, who, sidebar here, my car broke down on Sunday, and I am trying to buy a new one, and there's an auto dealer salesman named Olivia Munn who called me earlier today, and when I saw that, I was like, "Why the fuck is Aaron Rodgers' ex-girlfriend calling me?" But that's what I thought.
It's really funny.
No way.
Like, what the actual fuck? Why does Olivia Munn have a South Dakota area code? And then I realized I was like, actually, it's probably just a different Olivia Munn. But
Now, you just only have to start being weirded out if you get a call from a Danica Patrick.
yeah, I really do need to be.
Yeah, I would just be weirded out if I got I like that would scare me. I'd be less interested in like, oh, I'm meeting a race car driver, and more like I'm gonna get my kidney stolen.
uh, but
What?
she's a chiropractor apparently. So
That makes
if you need
sense.
your- how does that make sense, Mitch?
Yeah,
Aaron
but
Rodgers' mom would be a chiropractor.
I don't
Oh,
get it.
that's right.
Chiropractic is like not like a science. It's like a pseudoscience.
I kind of
So
get
what?
where you're getting. Okay, whatever. My bad.
But she gets a 6 out of 10 for having so many names, freaking me the fuck out. But also, like, I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. So the fact that you've alienated your own son, I respect the hell out of that.
I
And
do
that's
too.
all the moms.
Although I do
All of
feel
them?
like I've heard before that part of why he's like crazy is because his family was also insane.
I wouldn't be surprised.
His dad's also a chiropractor.
Do they like work together? I should have figured this out. I didn't
That's
find any.
good question.
I was just mainly like focusing on the mom. So anytime I saw that information about the dad, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Get the fuck off my screen.
Wow, covering every quarterback is kind of bonkers. I definitely thought it was only going to be the starting quarterbacks, but this was so much better. And when I kid you not, when I saw the notes and I was like, oh, AK's like actually like researching the shit out of this, and it's not just going to be a shit post. I knew we were in for a treat. Mitch, do you have any final thoughts?
Email.co.uk. Aaron Rodgers' mom actually cut him off because he had premarital sex with Olivia Munn.
Like fucking god.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So we crushed this podcast this week. Normally these notes are 3 pages long. The notes that we have this week are 9 pages long, and I had a blast. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap us up for the night and give Jackson hell with editing this thing. Next week, Jackson will be back on the podcast, and we will be bringing on another guest, TBD of who that is going to be. But yeah, we're going to start getting into some legit playoff scenarios. We got our first one this week. It's unlikely to occur, but Nagel very well could be leaving this week, a made man. Side note that I forgot to cover is that Ryan and Logan, if they both lose this week, there is only one scenario in which they can get into the playoffs, and it's a tiebreak scenario. So they will be all but dead going for the rest of the year. So thank you for tuning in to the Week 10 podcast. It was a doozy and it was a long one, but we will see you guys next week with some new segments, and we will be covering all the action that occurs this week. And we'll see if Ryan brings us any more delights in the chat and just straight comedy gold. But thank you for tuning in, and we'll come back next week.